America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Back-to-back days with shots fired. It's cloudy and cold this morning. Right now, 27 in downtown Indianapolis. Today's high around 37. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:02. 2 people are injured in an early morning shooting on Indy's east side. It happened around 1:20 on North Colorado Avenue, just off 34th and Sherman. When officers got there, they found 2 people who had been shot. Both were taken to a hospital. One of them was in critical condition. This shooting comes a day after shots were fired on the same block, and a man was critically injured while playing cards. The current political situation in Venezuela is a delicate one, according to Indiana Republican Senator Todd Young. Here's John Herrick.
Since the beginning of this year,
when Young spoke on the Senate floor Thursday, he said he's not totally sold on the idea of the American military getting heavily involved in Venezuela.
I strongly believe that any such commitment of U.S. forces in Venezuela must be subject to debate and authorization in Congress.
He says that belief of his is not a new one to this situation or to this president. Young says Congress needs to fulfill its role defined in the Constitution, but he also believes removing Nicolas Maduro from power was the right move. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana lawmakers are considering legislation centered around a child's use of social media. Senate Bill 159 would restrict students from using devices in schools during instructional time. SB 199 includes an overnight curfew for teenagers' social media accounts and prohibits children under 14 from having an account altogether. Both bills advanced out of the Senate Education Committee this week. The average price of gas today in Indiana still at $2.86. According to AAA, the national average remains at $2.84. A busy weekend of men's college hoops throughout the state coming up. The Indiana Hoosiers will host Iowa on Saturday. The Boilers are out west taking on USC. Notre Dame is in Blacksburg to face Virginia Tech. And the Butler Bulldogs will look to snap a 4-game losing streak when they take on Seton Hall. Ball State is in action tonight against Ohio. The Indiana Pacers will be looking to get back into the win column tonight. They're at home against the New Orleans Pelicans. Head coach Rick Carlisle says they can't have a similar effort to their game against Toronto.
Really just a level of physical posture, level of collective will, attitude. It's 48 minutes. We didn't get it done.
Tip-off tonight is at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. A check of the roads again. What do we see, Matt Bear?
Hot off the scanner. It is a crash on the east side post road at East 21st Street. Also coming up into Lawrence. Northbound 465 crash. Penn Pike on the shoulder. Looking at a crash. This is westbound 70 approaching Harding Street on the west side. No delay out to the airport here at the moment. And traffic sponsored by Discover. Do you know what's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide? If you guessed Discover, you guessed right, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Bring the family for Friday night fun with the blue and gold.
McConnell has it, perimeter right. Off the Furphy screen, drives the right baseline. He's determined to score, and he does score, driving the lane up and under, right to left.
The Pacers host the Pelicans for their only visit to Indy and for Lucas Oil Family Night. Each family night ticket includes a hot dog, chips, Pepsi, and Pacers hat. This offer's good at pacers.com/family. Pacers Pelicans, Friday at 7.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Scattered snow showers this morning, another round this afternoon, around a half an inch of accumulation expected. Today's high 37. Tonight, cloudy with a few light snow showers, a low of 23. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 9:06. Kendall Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So we pull into the parking lot, and there's a service truck out there, and it's called Tinder Locksmith.
How about now?
There
we go. It definitely caught my eye. And if your business is Tinder Locksmith, if you're not using the tagline, your perfect match or something like that, what are we even doing here? I don't even want to be in this country if that's not a tagline we're using for Tinder Locksmith. Swipe right with us. Something along those lines. It's just made for Fantastic marketing campaigns.
Have you seen, I believe there's an ambulance company, and it's called TransCare.
There
Do you think they regret that choice now?
I'm sure they do, but going back, probably years ago when the company started, they were like, okay, we're in the transportation business.
Correct.
We transport
So we'll just shorten
medical patients, so let's just call ourselves TransCare Ambulance.
Right.
And I'm sure nothing will go wrong with that. And then all of a sudden the word trans kind of changes
Has
things.
a whole different meaning now.
It reminds me of when you and I lived in South Bend. There was a very popular business that did a lot of advertising called Fred's Transmission. And for decades, their tagline was, if your tranny's dead, just call Fred. And I don't know if they're still using that, but that was their marketing for decades.
The evolution of words. It's the Kendall and Casey show. My name is Casey. Rob is off today. That is the dude, Jim, hanging out in the studio. So yesterday, Donald Trump made an announcement. He unveiled the new Great American Healthcare Plan. Are we calling it the GAP?
Great American. Yeah, I like that. The GAP plan. That's nice.
He's urging Congress to pass this legislation, also turn the plan's ideas into law. Some people are saying he wasn't being very specific, but let's talk about some of the main proposals of the plan. Most favored nation drug pricing. Drug companies would be required to lower prices.
Sounds okay.
Yeah, the policy was previously issued via executive order in May. He also wants price transparency. Hospitals, providers, and insurers would have to publicly post prices and fees in their facilities. So,
also sounds pretty good and reasonable.
So you go to the hospital, for example, and you pull up there, and you're like, checking out the menu.
They got like on a bunch of LCD screens like you're at McDonald's. I'll have the number one, supersize it, and I'd also like an MRI with contrast.
Right. Can I get a burrito bowl and a heart cath, please?
Hey, I'm all for that.
You think that they'll have it like right out there in the open, or is it going to be, yes, I'd like to see the pricing plan. Okay, well, you're going to have to go down to the basement and take a right through the exit doors there, and it's right next to radiology and the janitor's office.
Yeah, I can't believe that the hospitals are going to want this prominently featured anywhere. They're probably going to want to bury this. Or maybe it'll be like you sit down at a restaurant and they give you a menu. Here are your options for today. Our features are
on special today.
Special chef special is a urinalysis, or a dermatology abrasion scrub. Oh, that sounds nice.
So the goal is to let patients see the real cost of things before you receive your care, which would be nice.
I don't see my cholesterol medication on this registration. Oh, I'll get you our prescription menu. Here you go.
That's different.
That's like the drink menu at the like the wine list at the restaurant. Here's our prescription menu. Oh, this is lovely. I'll take some Ristatin and a glass of Chardonnay.
Said he wants to end taxpayer-funded insurance subsidies. That's the argument that's been going on forever. And also direct payment to Americans. Trump says the government would send healthcare money straight to the people. And I believe that's where the issue is going to occur.
Look, I've said this since, Donald Trump was running for election last year. Look, what we're currently doing isn't working all that great.
It's not working.
So is this, some magic bullet solution, wonderful idea? I don't know, but at least the guy's trying something, although it does come across, like everything Trump does, as kind of a political rally pitch. We're the greatest, biggest ever, lowest prices in the world. Seems a little bit more like a political pitch than a plan. And he's got some broad goals. We're going to lower drug prices. We're going to make transparency, but it's not really a plan. There's no detailed legislative text. There's no clear mechanisms. There's no timeline for this. It's all very vague at this point.
And by the time it does get through the Senate and the House, they'll whitewash the whole thing, and it won't come out looking anything like the original intent, because that's what always happens. But the White House does call the plan common sense and bold. The one thing that I do like about the idea is that it does shift power away from the insurers and the bureaucrats and back to individuals, puts patients more in control. At least that is the idea of this plan. Somebody's got to do something.
Right. And like I said, what we've been doing is not working great. How about we try something else?
Right.
I don't know. Are we just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks? Oh, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. But you know what? Maybe this one sticks, or at least part of it sticks, and we've got some improvement here. So knock yourself out, Donald Trump. It's better than doing the same thing we've been doing for the last 20 years.
Here is Donald Trump talking about part of the plan.
The Great Healthcare Plan. That's the name. It's called The Great Healthcare because it's great healthcare at a lower price. Mandates unprecedented accountability and transparency from insurance companies and all healthcare providers so that special interests can no longer profiteer at your expense. As the saying goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. That is why my plan orders all insurance companies to publish rate and coverage comparisons in very plain English. It requires insurers to publish detailed information about how much of your money they're going to be paying out in claims versus how much they're taking in profits. In other words, you will be able to watch the scam. It forces them to release detailed data on how many claims are being denied and whether those denials are eventually overturned on appeal. And most importantly, it will require any hospital or insurer who accepts Medicare or Medicaid to prominently post all prices at their place of business so that you are never surprised and you can easily shop for a better deal or better care. And you're going to end up doing both. You're going to get a better deal and better care. We will have maximum price transparency and costs will come down incredibly. I'm calling on Congress to pass this framework into law without delay. Have to do it right now so that we can get immediate relief to the American people, the people I love. Thank you very much.
How angry are you going to be when you see the denials?
Right. If they actually end up pulling this data, that may be actually long-term one of the most impactful parts of this. If he requires insurance companies to publish the data that talks about, okay, here's how much we paid out, here's how much we denied, and here's how much profit our company made. That could be more impactful in this process than anything. But let's not pretend that just transparency and pricing is some magic bullet in all of this. For starters, if it's an emergency, you really don't get to shop around.
Right, you're going to go with what they have.
Exactly. And if I'm looking for, a cancer doctor, do I want to go with the cheapest one?
Right.
Do I want to go with the guy that's got a coupon this week that I bought on Groupon? I get 50% off my radiation and chemo treatments this week. I don't know that transparency automatically equals lower prices.
Yeah, a lot of people confusing health coverage with health care. And it does seem like right now what we're paying for is catastrophic insurance.
Sure,
Many
because
people.
most health plans work with you've got a deductible, whatever that is, and you're paying full freight. You're paying 100% of your bills for the most part until you reach that deductible. And then a lot of plans, when you reach that deductible, you're responsible for 80% and the insurance company pays, or you're responsible for 20%, insurance company pays 80%, and that's the case up until you reach your annual out-of-pocket maximum.
We're aiming for reaching that deductible early.
Let's get some surgeries
before
done.
January's even done, aren't
bunch
we?
of
You
testing.
just love surgeries. You get like 8 a year.
Hey, I wasn't the one that was sick since the New Year's Eve. You were the one that was doing doctors in emergency rooms. So don't throw this on me.
So one thing this will do is it's going to possibly force hospitals to compete like real businesses, right? If you can shop around, perhaps maybe you want to go someplace different, but it's also going to challenge big pharma instead of protecting it. If Congress does block this or doesn't move forward or doesn't get something done, you know that this is not going to be about policy, and it will definitely be more about politics. The Great American Healthcare Plan. We'll see if they even address it.
GAP. I like that. Great American Healthcare Plan.
Gap. That's what I'm calling it anyway. Fill in the gap.
Fill in. Oh, think of the.
I'm already creating taglines for it.
If you've ever ridden the tube in London, mind the gap. That could be the thing. That could be part of it too. Mind the gap. Oh, are we on the tube in London? No, we're getting American health care. Thank you very much.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Tickets are on sale right now for Trump 1 year later. The highs, the lows, how we win the midterms. Happening at the Hyatt Regency, downtown Indianapolis. The bourbon will flow. The food will be fantastic. We're going to go over Trump's past year and how we use that to win the midterms. It's going to be informing, entertaining, and very, very funny. I promise. Join us, Trump 1 year later. Brought to you by Premier Arms, PA Jewelers, Defiance Beef, Chimney Solutions, and WIBC. Get your tickets at WIBC.com.
Hey, it's Tyrese Halliburton. I care about Indiana and the people who live here. We look out for each other, and sometimes that means stepping up in ways we don't always think about. Saying yes to organ donation, that's one of those ways. For real, just one organ donor can save 8 lives. That means your yes could give someone more time with family, more experiences with loved ones, more life. When you say yes to organ donation, you have the power to save lives.
Hey guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy. You know, when it comes to restoring your hair and your confidence, picking the right team makes all the difference. At We Grow Hair Indy, some of the biggest names in sports, radio, and entertainment trust them with their hair restoration. 5 years ago, I made the choice to head over to We Grow Hair Indy, and every time I look in the mirror, so glad I did. Call today to schedule your free consultation, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
6 superfans, dressed to the tens, crammed onto a 3-person couch, and armed with a dozen chicken wings. Now that's how you finish off the season. Gear up for the championship game at your local Academy Sports and Outdoors store in Bloomington. Score Indiana jerseys, shirts, caps, and more. The store will be open post-game if Indiana wins the championship. Rep your team today. Visit Academy Sports and Outdoors at 123 South Kingston Drive in Bloomington today.
We have the best technicians in the business here at Family. They'll take care of you every time. 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
This hour powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer. Nobody cares for you like family.
It's a mile from the Arctic Circle, and man, it's crazy there right now. Minneapolis.
It is very, very far north. And yes, you're right. There's a lot happening in Indianapolis right now.
President Trump has threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, and that's his response to the protest. And the act would allow the deployment of U.S. troops and also the federalization of the National Guard. And he's been accusing the Minnesota leaders of failing to stop professional agitators and insurrectionists who are targeting ICE officers. And it seems that Tim Walz is now saying we need to turn down the temperature.
Yeah, this was a guy that, you know, certainly he and the mayor of Minneapolis haven't been turning down the temperature so far in this process. And a lot of these problems fall at the feet of the state of Minnesota and the city of Minneapolis because they're fighting ICE tooth and nail. They're forcing their police departments to not cooperate with ICE. They're agitating these protesters in the process. Let's go back and look at when Trump sent the National Guard to Memphis. Now, a little bit different here because we're talking ICE versus the National Guard, but he sent the National Guard to Memphis to help control the crime. The mayor of Memphis, a Democrat, supported it. The state of Tennessee, Republican governor, supported that, and we never heard any problems with when the National Guard went to Memphis. We heard the crime rates drop. We never heard of any incidents or anything. So a lot of this is being driven by the fact that the state of Minnesota and the city of Minneapolis are fighting this tooth and nail and forcing their law enforcement agencies to not cooperate with ICE during this whole process. And now that's what we've got. Now it's not working. There's a lot of anger and tension and incidents that are happening there. And so now we've taken it. Trump's trying to take it to the next level and threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act. Which, by the way, he threatened to do that with Chicago and some other cities during the second term in 2025. Never actually went through with it. We'll see if he pulls the trigger here on Indianapolis.
Yeah, he said he will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in that once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The difficult part is these ICE agents, they're being sent into hostile environments, and then they're being blamed when things go sideways.
Yeah, look, these are professional agitators, and it's been documented and shown before. A lot of these people are paid protesters. They're getting paid by various NGOs and organizations to be there. It is an extremely tense situation that ICE runs into every single day, and that's why we've had these incidents that we've had the last few weeks.
So the Insurrection Act, it's been used roughly 30 times in U.S. history, most recently in 1992 during the L.A. riots, and the president has acted without state consent only 5 times in the past 130 years, and that all happened during the civil rights era. Are you okay? You're having a bloody nose right now, aren't you? It's the dry air here.
On the air.
Oh, that's nice. We'll get you some tissues here in just a second. But you've got all the lawmakers in Minnesota. They're the ones that are just egging all of this on. Here's a Minnesota state senator who is defending the rioters who are attacking the ICE agents.
The disorder that exists in our streets, the public safety risk at this point, is not an insurrection in Minneapolis. It is an invasion by masked, unaccountable secret police on behalf of an authoritarian regime on the march.
So Trump has threatened to use the Insurrection Act in the past. Most recently, he considered it right after George Floyd's death. He ultimately chose not to invoke it, but he has suggested now that he would. You've got this reporter who was asking Caroline Levitt about this, and she was not having any of it. She just put him down in just 60 seconds. Just listen to her. And she what she did, she turned it back on him and made him answer the question, and then she just slammed him down.
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
She seemed like she was really, really angry at this guy. But my question is, why do you have this guy who's clearly not American, he's from the foreign press, trying to lecture Americans about our politics?
Well,
he shouldn't even be in there.
Here's where he made this mistake. And this is speaking from somebody, I've hired journalists for years. I've overseen from a management perspective journalists. I know how journalism works. His mistake was giving his opinion. Now, Carolyn Levitt Smith asked for his opinion, and his mistake was actually giving his opinion. What he should have said, what a real journalist would have said is, you know what, my opinion isn't relevant here. I'm just to report the facts, and I'd like an answer to this specific question. But he gave his opinion, and that opened him up to a legitimate attack from the press secretary.
Right, so does he want to be a journalist or does he want to be a commentator? Because there is a definite, distinct difference between the two.
There are, even though in today's media world, those lines have blurred dramatically, they shouldn't. And respected, proper journalists should know where those lines are, and he certainly crossed it by giving his opinion.
Yeah. So governors can nullify federal authority by political resistance, and you've got the Insurrection Act existing for moments when states lose control like what is happening in Minnesota.
And what's shocking about this is the state has done nothing to try and exert control. They haven't made any of their law enforcement officers put them in the position to be able to support ICE, to provide crowd control, to arrest people that are breaking the law in the view of protest. They have been the ones that haven't done anything to help get this situation under control.
And so many people are saying, oh, this is authoritarian and an overreach of power. No, it's not. It's basic governance. Keep people safe.
Well, and enforce the rule of law. Look, I get that you don't like that ICE is going around and enforcing the law by removing illegal aliens, but it's the law. And then ICE goes to these places and you've got protesters that are blocking cars, that are throwing objects at ICE, and no local law enforcement is there to do anything about it. It goes back to enforcing the law. And look, you're going to have a hard time being on the right side of history if you're on the side of lawbreakers.
You're listening to the Kendall Casey Show. It is 93 WIBC.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well,
I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
What say we start that new year with a new car at Tom Roush Lincoln? Hurry in for the 8, 9, 10 deal. Get $8,000 off new Nautilus or $9,000 off new Corsair. Or how about $10,000 off Lincoln Aviator? The 8, 9, 10 deal right now at Tom Roush Lincoln. Come get a great deal on all three from Tom Roush, where our family served yours since 1972.
Corsair stock number L25566, MSRP 55340. Nautilus stock number L26030, MSRP 62705. Aviator stock number L25384, MSRP 79450. See dealer for complete offer details.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Lose the weight or stop smoking with Hypnosis, guaranteed only $59.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Hypnosis Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. And Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A possible change in the messaging. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Brought to you by Window Nation. President Trump's border czar and former director of ICE says they need to be better at getting the word out about the actual work that they're doing.
White House border czar Tom Homan told Fox's Laura Ingraham they need to do a better job explaining who they are arresting.
We just got pushed back the lies because I think a lot of people don't get the facts, and we got to be better at getting the facts out there.
Homan asked why no one protested the assault and murder of women like Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungary.
Bottom line is 70% of everybody arrested is a criminal. We need to start advertising that every single day and putting their pictures all over social media.
Following the ICE shooting of Renee Good last week, the mayor of Minneapolis told ICE to get out. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz told protesters to record agents and create a record of their actions.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. As the search for the next head of the Federal Reserve continues, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett spoke with Fox Business's Mornings with Maria about his chances and what he would do with the position.
If it were to be me, I've said that I would take the job, and I would take that job with a commitment to Federal Reserve independence and transparency.
It comes after the Department of Justice opened a criminal investigation into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The probe focuses on whether Powell was truthful during congressional testimony about building renovations to the Fed's 2 main buildings on the National Mall. And Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as president of Lucasfilm, the production company behind Star Wars. She had been there since 2012. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC is brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is up 13 points, 49,442. The S&P 500 also in the green. It's up 15 points, 6,944. The NASDAQ is up 146 points to 25,547. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're tired of your house being uncomfortably cold, and paying those high electric and oil bills to keep the heat on is shockingly expensive this time of year. You'd love to have new windows, but you don't want to pay a fortune for them. Well, January is a great time of year to replace your windows thanks to Window Nation. Over the last 20 years, they've installed over 3 million energy-efficient windows and helped tens of thousands of homeowners keep their homes comfy and cozy year-round, while also saving them money on monthly utility bills thanks to new windows.
And right now, they're more affordable during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows for Free sale. So it's a great time to replace all the windows in your home. Plus, you could get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. If you're feeling cold drafts from your windows, it's time for new windows. Save big with Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 sale going on right now. Visit windownation.com to get started.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Family Heating and Air Conditioning? We'll find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Same team, new location. Will they be known as the East Chicago Bears? So you've got some Senate Republicans who wrote a bill to lure the Chicago Bears to Indiana with stadium authority. It's called Senate Bill 27, and it is to make Indiana's bid for the Chicago Bears more serious. The Bears called the legislation a significant milestone, and the bill was assigned to the Indiana Senate Appropriations Committee yesterday. Things are heating up in this conversation.
There's no way this bill doesn't pass. I mean, come on. I mean, we've got a Republican supermajority. The Republicans have made it clear they're willing to spend whatever of our taxpayer dollars they need to bring the Bears to Northwest Indiana. This bill's definitely going to pass.
This, to me, it seems like it's more of like a bragging rights thing more than anything. I mean, it does nothing for taxpayers, right?
Well, I don't take as staunch a stance on this as Rob does. Do I hate the idea of our tax dollars being given to billionaires to finance stadiums? Yes, but there is economic benefit that comes from these, and there'll be people that are like, actually, the studies show the economic benefit, blah, blah, blah. You can't tell me that common sense doesn't say all of these dollars are going to be coming in. Let's say that the Bears build a stadium in Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
There's going to be massive amounts of development, not only with the stadium, but around the stadium, because that's what all the sports teams want now. They want the area around the stadium so they can build hotels, bars, and restaurants and own all of that money coming in. All of those properties would generate property tax dollars. Now, I know they're talking about giving a property tax break on the stadium. I don't know if it's for the entire entertainment district, but there's going to be a significant amount of sales tax revenue that's created as part of these processes as well.
So
and I don't like the idea of us giving tax dollars to billionaires, but man, I do like the idea of sticking it to Governor Pritzker and the mayor of Chicago and bringing them to Indiana. That's a little sweetener in this deal. That if the Bears come to Indiana, we also got to get to give a good one to Governor Pritzker on this.
So what does Senate Bill 27 do? It creates the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority, and that authority would have power to acquire land, finance construction, and also build and manage stadium facilities. This is just legal framework. It's not a final deal, but who's behind the bill? You've got Senator Ryan Mishler. He authored the bill. He's also chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee. And you also have Senator Chris Garton, who is the Republican majority floor leader. He co-authored the bill, and Mishler said the bill sets groundwork for discussion during the legislative session. But isn't Garton the guy who was just recently creating AI photos of himself beating up on Santa Claus over big, unaccountable government overreach? And now he wants taxpayer dollars to go to an NFL team for a stadium. So there's a bit of a disconnect there. And let's give it up for your Indiana GOP. I mean, they've spent more time talking about getting the Bears in Indiana and a tenderloin pork sandwich than anything.
When you say it out loud, it does sound kind of stupid. Isn't this the guy who posted AI pictures of him beating up Santa Claus? You say that phrase out loud and it does sound really, really dumb. But let's dig into this. Part of this is, so for the Bears right now, Soldier Field. Soldier Field is owned by the city of Chicago. Now, that's good and bad for the Bears. The good part is that means the Bears don't have to pay property taxes on that, which, by the way, if they did, it is estimated they'd be paying $200 million a year in property taxes, because that is some prime beachfront property there in downtown Chicago, and they keep jacking up the property tax rates in the city of Chicago. So the Bears say, you know what, we're going to buy the old Arlington racetrack out in Arlington Heights, and we're going to turn that into our new stadium. And the state and the city of Arlington Heights said, oh, that's great. You're going to own this stadium. You'll have to pay $75 million a year in property taxes. So think about it. I feel like Rob Kendall here talking about nothing but property taxes, but think about that. If and Indiana has said, yeah, we're not going to charge you any property taxes on the stadium. So in property taxes alone, the Chicago Bears would save $75 million a year. That's enough money to pay a franchise quarterback and an elite edge rusher right there.
Okay, so of course you had Governor Braun during his State of the State address. He said that the administration is working hard to bring the Bears to Northwest Indiana. He said that he wanted to get it across the finish line, and they're calling it a major step forward. But let's think about this for a second. This bill is creating the framework, which is, I guess, smarter than just having a stadium boondoggle, right? At least we know what the plan is.
It does seem like there is some thought and planning that's going into this, yes.
Some clear rules, a little, dare I say, fiscal discipline. Is that involved? Can you say that?
No, you can't.
Okay.
You can't say fiscal discipline. You can say that they're doing a good job planning on how to spend all your money.
There we go.
But fiscal discipline is not a phrase that I would
stretch.
use in this. But they are doing a good job and making a really good plan to spend millions and millions of your tax dollars.
Yeah, that's so nice. Well, if you're a Bears fan, I guess you're not as upset about it than if you're not a Bears fan.
Yeah. If you're not a Bears fan, this probably isn't that big of a deal to you.
Or it is a big deal to you, and it's making you mad.
At the end of the day, what we're going to see here is this is probably being used as leverage by the Chicago Bears so that they can go back to the state of Indiana or the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago and say, look, you got to give us something better. Indiana's rolling out the red carpet and giving us a free stadium. You got to come a little bit closer to our end of the deal in this negotiation here. And it's likely that the Bears would end up settling by staying in the state of Illinois. But
I don't know. You had Roger Goodell walking around looking at property.
You did. The commissioner of the NFL was with the team owner of the Chicago Bears, and they were touring sites in Northwest Indiana. Now, the NFL loves new stadiums for their teams. So they're going to, and they love it when the cities and states pay for it.
Of course.
So the NFL is going to be all about getting the Chicago Bears whatever deal is going to be best financially to them, and they don't care about the geography of any of this. But if you had said that, a couple of months ago, this was a joke. That's all it was. It was the Gary Bears. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, now this is starting to look a little bit more real. Maybe, not likely, but it's not as dumb as what it sounded a couple of months ago when this was first floated.
So speaking of the Chicago Bears, they have a big game coming up this
weekend.
What?
They do?
Have you heard about this?
I know you're such a huge Bears fan, Casey.
I know.
That I'm not surprised about this.
I plan my social calendar around it.
Around the Bears game?
Yeah.
So as somebody that was born and grew up in the north suburbs of Chicago, this is a big weekend. Last weekend,
Rams,
just so that you know.
Yeah.
I cannot stop watching clips and highlights on social media of that Bears-Packers playoff game from last weekend. Everything about it. And I'm getting served now ads to buy all sorts of Chicago Bears merch.
I'm
so
sure
let's
you
go.
are.
So
Well, they got a new stadium to pay for.
That's right. They got to make some money somehow. We got to sell a lot of T-shirts to make that money.
Yeah.
So there was the 4th and 8 play in the fourth quarter that Caleb Williams made that incredible, amazing throw, and the Bears got the first down. We've seen the clip played and played again. There's a second. He's like rolling to his left, and he literally jumps up and throws the ball. And so people have taken like a freeze frame or a screenshot of that, and they've overlaid the Michael Jordan Jumpman logo. Eerily similar.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden, the unlicensed and unauthorized merch that is being produced about that with the silhouette of Caleb Williams looking exactly like the Jordan Jumpman logo. I'm here for all of it. I cannot wait until Sunday evening when the Bears play. It's going to be on NBC. Mike Tirico will be doing play-by-play for the game. It is my entire weekend. I cannot tell you how important this is. And I know we're going on a little we're going to visit
Life-changing, isn't it?
We're going to visit some family this weekend, and that's going to be great. But I am not responsible if I embarrass myself or I embarrass you
don't embarrass
for the
me.
way I act during that game in front of your family. You thought this was a good idea to go visit family. I told you the Bears were playing Sunday night. I am not held responsible if you get embarrassed for my behavior during that Chicago Bears game, because I don't know if you've noticed this, but I can get a little bit loud when I'm watching my teams play.
Where is this game being aired? What channel? What network?
It's NBC. It's Sunday Night Football.
Okay.
Sunday Night Football. I've been waiting all week for Sunday night. NBC. Mike Tirico doing play-by-play in Soldier Field, and they are talking about that this could be one of the coldest playoff games in NFL history.
Right.
Double-digit below zero wind chills. I've got a friend of mine. His son actually lives in Indianapolis. He lives in Wisconsin. They're meeting in Chicago and going to this game, and he's making me jealous by telling me all about it and
They're going to have
how
to
good
bundle
his tickets
up.
are.
That's no fun. I would much rather watch from the couch. The warmness of the family room, rather
Of course
than
you
being in
would.
the
The
stadium.
comfort, rather than being surrounded by 60,000 other Bears fans and one of the greatest sports runs we've seen in our lifetime and how fun this Bears team is.
The older I get, the more comfort means to me.
You know what? They make jackets. They make actually hand warmers and electric socks. I do own a pair of electric socks and electric gloves.
Yeah.
You'd be warm as can be.
No, you
Do you want to
wouldn't.
do that instead?
No.
Do you want to go to the Bears game? I bet I could get us tickets right now
You
on
think so?
StubHub. I could get us tickets on StubHub.
How much do you think they're going
right
for?
now?
You going to look it up? and see
Filibuster.
how- you're
The
gonna see
filibuster
how
for
much
just
they-
a second here, and we're going to see what the get in the door price is.
So if they win this game, does that mean that they're in the playoffs? This is like a must win, right?
They are already
the
in
wild
the
card.
playoffs.
Right.
So
But this
if
is a
they,
must
if
win.
it's a must win, because if you lose, you're out. So
Right.
if they win, if the Chicago Bears win this game Sunday, then they go to the NFC Championship game, and then whoever wins that goes to the Super Bowl.
The big game.
The big game. So they've got to win this weekend and then next weekend. And if they do that, then they are in the Super Bowl. And if you want to talk about me being completely unbearable to be around,
You go-
the
you'll be
Chicago Bears,
unhinged when-
the
yeah.
Chicago Bears being in the Super Bowl, I would be just not a very fun person to be around. Well, fun for me if you like the Chicago Bears. I'm just going to be insufferable. That's the problem. It looks like the
Yeah? Do you have a price
cheapest.
for
I
'em?
do. So the cheapest get-in price is going to be, terrible seats in the end zone, $412 per ticket.
Okay, well, that's a little cheaper than the IU football tickets.
The national championship
the
game
college-
tickets, the cheapest there are like $3,000, $3,500
Right.
to get
Look
in
at
there.
you, you're
Look, we're
sa-
saving
I
money.
was gonna
Look,
say,
we don't
you're-
have to go to the
you're
IU
saving
national
money.
championship game in Miami.
Not
We
the
just
same.
drive to Chicago,
Not the
and it's only
same.
$400 each.
You know,
it's nothing.
I'd much rather go to a college football game than an NFL football game.
Even at those prices?
Well,
Even at those prices, and you got to pay to fly all the way down to Miami, Chicago, that's a day trip. We can just drive up for the game, drive home, don't even need a hotel that night.
right.
I'm
there's
saving you.
There's just a little bit of difference in the weather there
I'm
between
saving
Chicago and Miami.
Saving you so much money right now
Mhm.
by saying, let's go to the Chicago Bears game on Sunday. It could
Nope,
still happen.
Sorry, you're gonna watch it on TV and you're gonna like it that way. Okay.
I will like it.
Okay.
It's going to be great. I'm going to wear my Bears jersey. It's the only time I have a Bears jersey. The only time I ever wear it is occasionally when the Bears are playing. I'll put the Bears jersey
It
on.
doesn't jinx it. Are you superstitious at all? Anything like that?
I'm not superstitious.
But
I am a little
stitious.
You know what? I'm not a big superstition kind of guy. No, of course not. If I'm wearing the jersey, I'm the 12th man. I'm giving my support for the team. Exactly. Yeah. How are the Bears supposed to win if Jim in Indianapolis isn't wearing his Brian Urlacher jersey on Sunday during the game?
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah, we'll have to get you some new merch with the
I
logo.
do want with that Caleb Williams silhouette, and I've seen one where it says
You're excited
it
about
says
that.
Iceman behind it because
Is
that's his nickname, the Iceman. Because when he does something really good, he kind of brushes off his shoulders like he's knocking the snow off his shoulders. He's the Iceman, Caleb Williams.
Okay, and if they don't win this game, are you still going to want something with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So that's how iconic. I mean, this Bears run has really been so much fun. From the head coach taking off his shirt in the locker room post game so that the entire town could get free hot dogs, the nasty words that he had to say about the Packers head coach and the Packers organization after the big win last weekend. Caleb Williams. Look, Caleb Williams, 2 years ago, Caleb Williams was a fruity quarterback at USC who painted his nails and drank matcha. Now he's my fruity quarterback that paints his nails and drinks matcha. It's a big difference. I'm all here for all the goofiness and quirkiness of Caleb Williams.
As long as he keeps winning.
Just keep winning, baby.
It is the Kendall Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Staying connected shouldn't be a struggle, but for many Hoosiers who are deaf, hard of hearing, deafblind, or have a speech disability, everyday phone calls can be frustrating. That's where Relay Indiana comes in. Relay Indiana is a free statewide service that helps people communicate over the phone by connecting callers through specially trained relay operators. They make sure conversations between specialized devices and standard phones are clear, accurate, and respectful. Relay Indiana also offers relay conference captioning, providing real-time captions for meetings, webinars, and conference calls, so you never miss a word. Whether it's work, family, or everyday life, communication matters. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com. That's RelayIndiana.com. And stay connected.
It's a new year. Ready for a fresh start or career reboot? At My Computer Career, prep for a more recession-resistant future in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, in months, not years, including AI. Whether you're starting out or switching careers, no prior training is needed. Attend school online from home or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu to take the free career evaluation today. mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
6 superfans, dressed to the tens, crammed onto a 3-person couch, and armed with a dozen chicken wings. Now that's how you finish off the season. Gear up for the championship game at your local Academy Sports and Outdoors store in Bloomington. Score Indiana jerseys, shirts, caps, and more. The store will be open post-game if Indiana wins the championship. Rep your team today. Visit Academy Sports and Outdoors at 123 South Kingston Drive in Bloomington today.
Mark your calendar for January 24th at the Hyatt Regency for a night of insight and flair with Tony Katz. Trump 1 year later. VIP and GA tickets are available. WIBC.com for more info. Presented by Defiance Beef Company, Premier Arms and Chimney Solutions.
So we just spent a little time talking about the Bears possibly moving to the East Chicago Bears to Northwest Indiana.
Yeah, you want to keep talking about the Bears?
No, I want to talk about, have you seen all the videos coming out of South Bend?
Yeah.
Of all the snow. They've got 9 inches of snow. 2.5 hours north. What a difference it makes.
It's shocking. And as somebody who lived in South Bend for 20 plus years, hey, man, it's January in South Bend, Indiana.
That's what happens.
You're going to get a ton of lake effect snow, and it's not going to be a lot of fun.
Lake effect snow is its own thing, man. Unless you've lived through it for years, you don't quite understand it.
Right, and I feel like not enough of the country really is even aware of what lake effect snow is, because unless you live in like West Michigan along the lake there, South Bend, or there are parts of Cleveland near Lake Erie, and then of course Buffalo get it. So there's like 3 metros in the country that have this thing called lake effect snow, and the rest of the country doesn't, probably have any idea what you're talking about. And man, it's something.
Yeah, they've got 9 inches of snow right now.
If you've ever lived it, that lake effect snow is no joke. It is serious business.
So I came across this reporter. She works for ABC 57 out of South Bend, Indiana, and she said that this is her first real snow in South Bend. Listen, the struggle is real.
Not trying to be like that, but I just cannot process that people willingly live in these conditions. I mean, I'm sorry, I grew up in California, went to school in Florida, but I'm scared for my life out here. I might not make it home. Like, it's just a few hours. What? Oh my God, I don't even know what to say.
She's recording that video. She's busy clearing all the snow off of her car that's parked in a parking lot.
Yeah.
How soft can you be? Oh, I lived in California and Florida my whole life, and I can't take a little bit of cold and a little bit of snow. I'll bring it back to the Chicago Bears. You know who they're playing in Chicago?
The Rams.
From Los Angeles, Southern California. Again, I'm sorry that we keep bringing it back to Bears talk, but you shouldn't have had me fill in for Rob 3 days before the biggest game of my life. So the Chicago Bears have been practicing outdoors all week. No heaters on the sideline.
Yeah.
And
well, they're used to that cold weather.
The Los Angeles Rams have also been practicing outdoors in Southern California, where it's sunny and 80 degrees.
Sure.
So I think the Rams are going to be in. The Rams from California are going to be in for a big shock this weekend, just like that reporter from California was in South Bend.
The thing about that reporter, so she's from California. I take it she worked in Florida for a bit and then got this job in South Bend, where they currently have 9 inches of snow. And you got to imagine during that interview process, somebody had to have asked her, are you prepared for the winters of northern Indiana? And she laid it on. Oh, yeah, sure. I can handle adversity.
Just like you do.
First snowfall hits, first lake effect snow. And she's like, get me out of here.
You'll say anything in a job interview to get the job. Oh, do you know how to program a nuclear submarine? Absolutely. Been doing it for years. No problem. Are you sure coming from California you can handle the harsh winter snow? No problem. It'll be easy. First bad snowfall, and she's like, I can't take it anymore.
Get me out of here. Now, I can recall one snowstorm. As we mentioned, we lived in South Bend for 25 years and have seen our fair share of heavy snow. There was one year that the TV station actually sent out the Hummer to pick people up because the show must go on. People still needed their news. And if they couldn't get into the television station, they actually would load everybody up in the Hummer and bring them to the television station. And they did have a bathroom with a shower. People were spending the night at the TV station.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that's common, but that would happen every 3 or 4 years. There would be a snowfall that would be nasty enough where they would send out, the 4-wheel drive news vehicles, and they'd come to your house and they'd pick you up and they'd bring you to the radio and television station. And then, like you said, they built that television and radio station specifically with showers in there for instances just
for
like
weather
this.
Emergencies.
And yeah, I never had to do it, but friends of mine that worked there, they would spend 2, 3, 4 nights at the television station because that's a 24/7 operation. Somebody's got to be there, got to keep the lights on, got to keep the public informed. And if we've got to come to your house and get you so that you can do that, that's what we're going to do.
So the girl in the video who's clearing the snow off of her car, she's wearing this heavy duty parka and it's got the TV station logo on it. And when I was at the TV station, I was gifted one of those coats.
Which, by the way,
for those exact moments when you are, out in the elements. And you know where that coat was left?
Where? That was a great coat. Where is it?
It was a great coat. I left it in Florida.
Of all places.
I'm not going to need this anymore.
I'm out of here.
Oh, man. Not quite as much snow here in central Indiana, but it is chilly today. It's the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/22/26, new customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Hammer and Nigel here for Premier Weight Loss Indy. PWLindy.com. 2 different locations. And look, everybody is somewhere different in their health journey. People aren't the same, and treatments should not be the same. This is why I love Premier Weight Loss Indy. It's an in-person visit. You're going to get a consultation with a professional, and they will customize a plan specifically for you. Again, no plans are the same because people are not the same. So if you really want to take your health to the next level this year, start by going online to PWLindy.com. I lost a bunch of weight of my own, but then I hit a plateau and I couldn't lose anymore. I reached out for help. Premier Weight Loss Indy jumped in the mix, and now I'm down 16 additional pounds in 2 months. PWLindy.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. Take care of your health.
Hey, Hoosier fans. This is your head coach, Kurt Signetti. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, I highly recommend the exclusive partner of IU Athletics, True Blood Real Estate. They're an Indiana-owned company with beautiful offices across the state. True Blood is a tech-driven company that provides their clients with a winning game plan, which is exactly why they are our exclusive partner. If you're looking to buy or sell, call True Blood Real Estate. Go IU.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Texas 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Dugan Air Heating and Cooling Mitsubishi Electric Studios, who's being sentenced this morning in Hendricks County, where shots were fired early this morning in a place officers have already been to this week. What did the governor have to say in an interview on WIBC? And one Indiana senator's take on what the country's next moves should be with Venezuela. Those stories and more after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
From opposition leader to elected leader, I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I believe I will be elected when the right time comes as president of Venezuela.
That's what Maria Corina Machado predicts, telling Fox's Rachel Campos Duffy after meeting at the White House with President Trump and giving him the Nobel Peace Prize awarded to her for a push for democracy that got her persecuted in Venezuela.
Because I did it on behalf of the Venezuelan people that appreciate so much what he has done.
The president thanked Machado on Truth Social, calling it a wonderful gesture of mutual respect. CIA Director John Ratcliffe met with Venezuela's acting president in Caracas yesterday. President Trump has praised Delcy Rodriguez following this month's U.S. operation that captured leader Nicolas Maduro. The U.S. is sending an aircraft carrier to the Middle East amid a deadly crackdown in Iran that's reportedly killed more than 2,000 protesters calling for regime change. U.S. Ambassador to the UN Mike Waltz told the Security Council,
President Trump is a man of action, not endless talk like we see at the United Nations. He has made it clear all options are on the table to stop the slaughter.
As President Trump pushes a peace plan in Ukraine, that country's energy minister accuses Russia of weaponizing winter, saying not a single Ukrainian power plant has been spared from attack. And he says hundreds of thousands of people are without electricity and power in what's the coldest winter there in years. The anger simmers in Minneapolis with another night of anti-ICE protests outside a detention center following recent immigration enforcement-related shootings.
Protesters, some who claim to be just visual witnesses, can be seen surrounding and pounding on a government vehicle last night. These tense scenarios are playing out on the daily as protesters target immigration agents near that federal facility.
That's Fox's Matt Finn in Minneapolis. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's facing a few decades. Cloudy, 29. Will be cloudy all day with a high at just 37. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Sentencing is underway this morning for the man convicted of killing an Indiana state trooper. Ryan Hedrick is there with the latest.
We're at the Hendricks County Courthouse this morning where we are listening to the sentencing of Eddie Jones, who was convicted of killing Indiana State Trooper Aaron Smith back in 2023. Smith jumped in front of Jones's car into the road to lay down stop sticks as Jones was driving away from police. Jones killed Smith, and now he's facing 40 years in prison. Reporting from the Hendricks County Courthouse, Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
At around 1:15 this morning, officers responding to a report of shots fired in the 3400 block of North Colorado Avenue. That's on the city's east side. When officers got there, they found two people who had been shot. One of them was in critical condition as they were both transported to an area hospital. This incident happened less than 24 hours after another shooting on the same block. In that case, early Thursday morning, a man was critically injured when a gun discharged while he was playing cards. Investigators have not said whether the two incidents are connected. While on with WIBC's Tony Katz this morning, Indiana Governor Mike Braun says he's welcome to the companies proposing to build data centers all throughout the Hoosier State.
They are the richest companies in the world. They want to be in Indiana because of our general business climate and relatively light regulations, and they'll be lighter over time, common sense ways to get rid of that impediment.
The governor also said the state is serious about bringing the Chicago Bears to Northwest Indiana as they look for a site for a new stadium. On Thursday, Indiana Republican Senator Todd Young said the U.S. government needs to be careful about getting too heavily involved in Venezuela.
And I believe that a drawn-out campaign in Venezuela involving the American military, even if unintended, would be the opposite of President Trump's goal of ending foreign entanglements.
Young said that as any such commitment of U.S. forces in Venezuela must be subject to debate and authorization in Congress. And the Indiana Pacers are back at the Fieldhouse tonight hosting the Pelicans, looking to start another win streak after their loss a few days ago to Toronto. Tip-off is set for 7. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey back in 1 minute.
Hi, my name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar in March of 27 and seen Mark. My best friend came with me. We both went to it, and neither one of us smoked a cigarette in almost 7.5 months. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend and them went. None of them have smoked a cigarette, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar, the Stop Smoking, and it worked. A friend of mine also went, and he still no longer smokes, and it was just amazing.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed. Only $59.99. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all, or your money back. Stop the cravings and stop smoking for good. Stop Smoking Hypnosis begins at 8 p.m. on Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville, or at 2 p.m. on Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Registration 30 minutes before. Sign up today at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So you've got 11 members of Congress now who are taking a trip to Greenland. This is a bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers. They're visiting Greenland as a show of support for Denmark in some cases, and in others, they're showing support for Donald Trump. This issue over Greenland, Donald Trump's wish to annex the country, is really dividing some members of Congress, even within the Republican Party.
Members of Congress taking a trip to Greenland. I hear it's lovely this time of the year in Greenland.
You think so?
It's in the Arctic Circle. No, it's going to be miserable and horrendous there. And can you believe some of those lawmakers, some American lawmakers, taking a trip to Greenland to show their support for Denmark?
Right, exactly.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is the Kendall and Casey show. My name is Casey. That is Jim, who is in for Rob today. So the delegation does include 11 members of Congress. And they have meetings scheduled with the Danish MPs, also Prime Minister, and also Greenland leaders. And it's being led by Senator Chris Coons, who's a Democrat from Delaware. Tom Tillis is going, and also Lisa Murkowski. And Lisa Murkowski always gets picked on by Donald Trump. Probably,
Rightly so.
Rightly so. Yeah. So what does she do? I'm out. I'm going to go to this country and see what's going on over there.
Lisa Murkowski, the senator from Alaska. So actually, she's the one that probably has the thick winter skin already and can tolerate, the Arctic Circle and visiting Greenland.
So this comes after they had those talks in Washington, and the lawmakers say that they want calm tensions. What is a calm tension? You know there's going to be tension, but you want it to be calm?
It's just like jumbo shrimp. Calm tension.
Military intelligence?
It's all the same thing,
Calm
an absolute
tensions.
contradictory for every aspect of it. This is all part. I mean, we're not going to invade Greenland, are we? This isn't going to be a military thing.
Who knows?
I mean, the chance.
Do you know what Donald Trump is thinking?
The chance is greater than zero, but it's got to be pretty small. Because tip the dominoes here. Fine. Let's say we militarily go in and take over Greenland. Okay, they're pretty much going to dissolve NATO at that point because Greenland being owned by Denmark. Denmark is a member of NATO, as in the United States. That would be, end the NATO relationship. But then what else? Okay, there would be some catastrophic consequences. The United States has military bases all over NATO countries and in Europe. Are those countries going to kick us out of those military bases?
Yeah, what sort of retribution
would we see
will
for
they
this? Yeah, exactly. Are they going to kick us out of those military bases? Probably not, because those countries haven't built up their militaries to the point where they can defend themselves, and
They need us.
other countries, Russia, China, could pretty much just roll straight on through Europe without all the American military bases that are over there. So I think that's probably not likely to happen, highly unlikely to happen. So if that's highly unlikely to happen, all the rest of this blustering and talking, it's all just negotiating.
Right.
Which Donald Trump is brilliant at, maybe one of the best negotiators in the world. But that's what we're talking about here. This is a lot of bluster. It's a lot on both sides saying, no, you're not going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this. At the end of the day, this is a negotiation, and we'll see where it settles out.
The lawmakers said they also want to reassure allies, and they also want to prevent escalation within NATO. But you've got Trump, who's offered to buy Greenland. He's suggested taking it by force. And now he has said that the U.S. must own Greenland to defend it properly. It's a very sparsely populated country, but they do have a lot of very rich resources. But it offers a very strategic location, part of the missile early warning systems. You've also got the ability to monitor Arctic shipping routes. U.S. already has over 100 troops that are stationed close to the area.
There are less than 60,000 people in the entire country of Greenland. That is about the same population as Muncie, Indiana.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about what size of Kokomo, maybe?
Muncie, Indiana has about 64,000 people in it.
So the whole country.
The whole country has the same number of people as Muncie. By the way, that country is 5 times larger than California. So you've got this massive, huge country. Virtually nobody lives there, very sparsely populated. This is a huge negotiation. Something will come around. Here's my prediction for how this will all shake out. Eventually, what you'll see is Donald Trump will likely do this from a political aspect. He'll go into Greenland. He'll spend a lot of money there getting people, the citizens of Greenland. You only got to get 60,000 people to change their mind.
Sure.
Actually, you only need half of that probably. If you can get 30,000 people.
Plus one.
Exactly. If you can get 30,000 people in Greenland to vote and say, we want to be an independent nation, or even we want to break away from Denmark and we want to be part of the United States, kind of like Puerto Rico and Guam are part of the United States. That's probably not that difficult to do. Probably now it'll take some money. You'll have to spend a lot of money to convince these people to do that, and it'll take probably a couple of years. But you're only talking about 30,000 people to agree to this.
So you've got several countries that have already sent troops into Greenland: France, Germany, the UK, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and the Netherlands. France has announced upcoming deployment of land, air, and sea assets. And this has been going on for a while. Let's go in the Wayback Machine. You might recall back in April of last year, J.D. Vance, vice president, talking about the importance of Greenland to the United States.
I think Americans, by the way, don't fully realize how important this is to our own security. Yeah. So all of the missile defense that we have depends on having a presence in Greenland, because you think, God forbid, if somebody fires a missile at us, it's going to come over the Arctic. We need to have the visibility of what's going on there. And look, Denmark, which of course controls Greenland right now, they've really underinvested in the infrastructure and the security of Greenland. The president, what he said, of course the media attacks it, but it's very common sense. It's, look, this matters to our security, this matters to our missile defense, and we're going to protect America's interests come hell or high water.
The one thing you have to ask yourself, though, does strategic strength require territorial conquest?
Well,
we already have access to it. Do we have to own it?
Donald Trump actually spoke to that. He said, you don't treat a lease the same way you treat something you own. If you're a renter,
that's true.
You're not taking care of that property at nearly the level than if you own that property. Because it's mine. Exactly. Right. It's mine. This is what I'm going to do. So I think this will play out over a couple of years, and we will, probably strong. Hey, look what happened. So it's very similar. In the 1800s, Denmark owned what are now the U.S. Virgin Islands. And the U.S. at the time basically said, hey, we could just take that from you if we wanted to, or we could give you some money. And Denmark, wisely enough, was like, we'll take the money.
Yeah.
I think Trump's looking to, at least from a negotiation standpoint, employ the same tactic here. Got a nice country there. Be a shame if something happened to it. How about we slide you a Finsky and a couple of bucks in exchange so that we don't have to, find something that happens to it.
So the White House press secretary, she said that U.S. and Denmark are agreeing to establish a working group for technical talks on the acquisition.
It's a productive meeting. It was a good meeting, and in that meeting, the two sides agreed to really establish a working group of individuals who will continue to have technical talks on the acquisition of Greenland. Those talks will take place, I'm told, every 2 to 3 weeks. So this is a conversation the administration intends to keep having with the Danes and with the respected delegation from Greenland. But the president has made his priority quite clear. He wants the United States to acquire Greenland. He thinks it's in our best national security to do that.
So there are a lot of people saying that they wish that the White House would invest more time in making the United States better, according to Donald Trump. This is part of it. The Dane side says that this working group is set to find common ground by accommodating U.S. security concerns for Greenland while still making it a part of the Kingdom of Denmark.
Yeah, Donald Trump is having a moment when it comes to international affairs and his foreign policy. I mean, he's had a great year so far. He signed a number of peace treaties, according to him. I don't know, what are we up to, 8 or 9 wars that he ended? But obviously, he got the peace treaty between the Israelis and the Palestinians. Successfully bombed Iran and degraded their nuclear program. You had the huge victory in Venezuela, and now he's pushing for Greenland. Right or wrong, whether you agree with Trump or not, Trump has had an incredible amount of foreign policy success in his first year. Interestingly enough, kind of mirrors, that was really the success of his first term in office. He didn't have a whole lot of economic success. He didn't have a whole lot of ability to completely shut down the border that he wanted to in his first term, but all his big victories were in foreign policy. And so far in his first year of his second term, all his big victories have been in foreign policy.
Somebody posted this online. There are a couple funny lines in it. Dear Greenland, it looks as though you could become Americans any day now. Congratulations, but beware. It's not a title you should take lightly. We welcome you into our fold as our countrymen, but there are some things things that you should know before you run out and buy a Camaro and a Kid Rock t-shirt. Here's a guide. You speak English now, and only English. We are literally better than everyone else.
True.
Danish isn't a culture, it's a pastry.
Delicious one, too.
We don't eat whale meat. We eat pigs and cows and sometimes birds. Football means football. The other sport is soccer. Speed limits are suggestions. Disneyland isn't cool anymore. Nobody goes there. Texas is technically part of America, but we kind of let them do their own thing. We have like 1,000 kinds of beers. Just roll with it. Barbecuing means actually smoking meat, not just grilling. New York is for pizza. Chicago is for hot dogs. Do not, and I repeat, do not dip your fries in mayonnaise.
Who wouldn't want to be part of that country? Everything you just rattled off was amazing. I love the memes where they show a helicopter with a Buc-ee's underneath it, and they just kind of drop it in Greenland. Here's your Buc-ee's, and
that's on the list as well.
Here's a Buc-ee's, and here's your gun. Welcome to America.
Right,
You're now
it goes
Americans.
On to say, if you're driving and you need to eat or use the restroom, find a Buc-ee's. Going to be weird at first, but you'll get used to it. And then they say guns. We have guns. Get a gun. Yes, our healthcare is expensive, but you might actually get to see a doctor, and don't trust the media.
Sounds like a pretty good deal if you're living in Greenland. Not too bad. I'd love a Buc-ee's.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Tickets are on sale right now for Trump 1 year later. The highs, the lows, how we win the midterms. Happening at the Hyatt Regency, downtown Indianapolis. The bourbon will flow. The food will be fantastic. We're going to go over Trump's past year and how we use that to win the midterms. It's going to be informing, entertaining, and very, very funny. I promise. Join us, Trump 1 year later. Brought to you by Premier Arms, PA Jewelers, Defiance Beef, Chimney Solutions, and WIBC. Get your tickets at WIBC.com.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor and call a Groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Indiana Foundation Service, a Groundworks company.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See
When I
website
was
for
48
details.
years old, I had a massive heart attack.
Jake Query, sports radio host and announcer for the IndyCar Radio Network, shares his story as a registered organ donor.
I've always heard the assumption that I don't know about being an organ donor because if you go into the ER, they're going to be more anxious to get your organs. I'm kind of proof that's not the case. When your life is the one that's in the balance, your life is the priority.
Say yes to organ donation.
I have the opportunity to allow another group of people to continue the love and the beauty of life. Why wouldn't I do it?
To learn more, go to donatelifeindiana.org.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This hour powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard Air dealer. Nobody cares for you like family.
Get in there and make it all about me for a moment.
Please do. I'm waiting to hear this. This should be good.
Yeah. You know, I've got a birthday coming up.
This
is your reminder.
This is my reminder?
I'm broadcasting this to everyone. If you forget, Monday is my birthday. It's on you, dude.
You've already been given your birthday present.
Yeah, I know.
It's true. So
It's true.
Don't act like this hasn't been discussed before. I'm well aware and already purchased your birthday present with your approval. For your birthday on Monday.
You purchased it? I thought I purchased it.
You know, we were both in the same room when it happened.
Okay.
I think we both purchased it.
It was one of those it's our money situations.
Yeah, that's how it works. We're married. We have a shared, all of our accounts are shared. Yeah.
So yeah, Monday, I think IU is going to win for me. That's also part of
That'll
my
be your
birthday
birthday present?
Mm-hmm.
Is
right.
it IU winning a national championship?
Yeah. That'll be for me.
15 minutes ago, all I talked about was the Chicago Bears and how I can't wait for that game on Sunday. You didn't mention anything about that. Maybe the Bears will win their game the day before your birthday for you.
Yeah, and I told you I would much rather watch a college football game than an NFL game. So
I'm the same
that's
way.
the deal.
College football is my number one sport. Like it more than even the NFL. I'm with you.
But is it making me feel older having a birthday? You know, you get to a certain point in your life and you're like, I don't want to get older, but then you start celebrating because, yes, another year above ground.
Don't know how many of these I got left.
Right. So let's celebrate it while we can. But it made me realize, and I think it was Ginger Z who does Good Morning America.
She's the meteorologist
on
for
ABC.
Good Morning America.
She said something in her weather forecast this morning, and she said something like they've left the chat, which is Gen Z, Gen Alpha slang. And I came across this guy. He was invited to give a speech at a high school for Language Week, and he decided to do the entire speech in Gen Alpha slang.
I'm not going to have any idea what he's saying, am I?
He did the speech, and he said, for the parents that are watching at home on YouTube, we've got subtitles. And this is what he came up with.
Every time you drop a gyat or it's giving, you're legit patching the English language DLC with fresh updates, literally shifting the English meta. Language evolves because you're constantly cooking new ways to pass the vibe check, and honestly, your memes today finna hit as the textbook vocab of tomorrow. Bet. And this is exactly why learning languages hits different. Just like how your casual Pookie talk could soon be the dictionary definition, picking up another language gives you front row seats to how people around the world give the deets. It's like unlocking infinite drip, allowing you to catch dubs across cultures, connect deeper with the squad, and stand new perspectives that would otherwise leave you ghosted. Languages aren't just sus grammar rules, fam. They're the ultimate riz for becoming a real one everywhere you pull up. It's the Giga Chad energy for me. So, knowing languages isn't mid, but it's not just a flex either. It's an infinite money glitch that slaps. People finna get pressed saying languages are chopped or too hard. Don't listen, bestie. They're just salty because their language game is dog water. Being multilingual is OD, letting you stand cultures, vibe with international fam, and utterly mog your career. No cap, speaking another language lets you go off, turning you into an absolute conversational Rizzlord. So yeah, Chad, that's the sauce. Keep cooking, stay goated, never be mid, and FR, study hard and go rizz up that knowledge.
So what did you think? Do you understand everything he said?
Here is, this is a safe space, right? I can be vulnerable.
Sure.
I can admit something that may be a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
I knew about 90% of those.
Yeah.
That is embarrassing that I knew what he was talking about on the vast majority of those phrases.
You were getting context clues as well. His whole point was that Gen Alpha has their own language, and they technically are multilingual.
A bit of a stretch. I mean,
Right.
I get the the game he's trying to play here, and that was kind of fun. And
Trying to relate.
Look, if you're trying to speak to a room full of high school students, you're gonna have to do something that's a little interesting and fun. What I found fascinating about that whole thing, and I was waiting for it, not one mention of 6'7".
Correct.
Did it all without a 6'7".
Thank
Very
goodness.
That's actually impressive on his part. He had to obviously try to do that because 6'7" is kind of the biggest Gen Alpha buzzword that's crept beyond that specific generation in the last 6 months.
So if that didn't make you feel old, this might. The class of 2030 has just started college. This being put out by Purdue University. They're saying,
Welcome to Purdue! In West Lafayette and Indianapolis!
they're saying
We can't wait to see-
congratulations to the newly admitted class of 2030. So they are all freshmen right now. They're starting, this winter.
Yeah, my class was not in this millennium. So, yeah, that's glad it's your birthday on Monday and not mine because, man, I am feeling old right now.
Okay, so we've got a couple concerts coming, and Pitbull has announced the I'm Back tour with special guest Lil Jon. So he's going to be at Ruoff Music Center, Noblesville, coming up on Saturday, September 19th, 2026. Tickets go on sale Friday, January 30th.
Okay.
And yes.
Would you go to the Pitbull Lil Jon concert with me in Noblesville?
Are you asking me out on a date?
I am. I'm asking you right because there's the only person with worse taste in music than Rob Kendall is me. And I actually like Pitbull and Lil Jon because I want, just silly, fun music that has no artistic integrity or meaning whatsoever. Just give me a good beat.
You do. You love a one-hit wonder.
I love a one-hit wonder. All my favorite songs are guilty pleasures, so I like Pitbull. I like Lil Jon. Would you go, and not kicking and screaming, but willingly, with me to see the Pitbull Lil Jon concert in Noblesville?
Okay, well, I've been to worse shows with you, which we'll get to in just a minute.
You have been to worse shows.
But let's see how well you do naming some of these Pitbull songs.
Oh, is this quiz time?
It's quiz. You got to be quick. We're moving straight through this, all right?
Okay, what I just have to give the title of the song.
Title of the song. Let's see how well you do.
Okay. Timber. Easy. That's like his biggest hit. Tonight.
It's called Give Me Everything.
Give Me Everything. Shoot, missed that one. Okay. International Love.
Very good.
Oh, told you I was a fan. I know the song. I don't know the name of it, though.
Hotel Room Service.
Time of My Life.
Yes.
And this is Fireball. Boom, 4 out of 6. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
4 out of 6. That's pretty darn good. Did you see the clip of Marco Rubio from a couple weeks ago at Mar-a-Lago?
What was he doing?
They were playing Pitbull. And he was like kind of sitting in a chair, and he was kind of moving his shoulders a little bit. And as soon as it got to the Fireball part, he turns and looks at the camera and points
and
mouths the word Fireball. It's a pretty good little clip of Marco Rubio enjoying some Pitbull recently at Mar-a-Lago.
So we've got another concert coming to town. I don't know about this one. Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Coming. Yeah.
See, there's another one. Love Rob Zombie.
You've seen him in concert before.
So have you.
Uh-huh.
Against your will,
Yeah.
actually.
So I've been to this bad show with you before.
You have. When is that one? Because I want to go to that one too.
That one, let me see. That is also in September. Sunday, September. Oh, a Sunday? I don't know.
Sunday night with Rob Zombie.
Wow.
Let's do it.
No.
We'll go to church in the morning, and then we'll go see the Rob Zombie concert in Noblesville that evening.
Ask
That'll
for
be great.
forgiveness before you go to that show. Sunday, September 6th, and tickets go on sale Friday, January 23rd. Rob Zombie is, he's been multi-Grammy nominated, 15 million albums sold, huh?
He's a popular guy. Now you remember, I dragged you to a White Zombie, who Rob Zombie was the lead singer of, for a long time. I dragged you to a White Zombie concert.
Yeah.
Very early on in our relationship, this many years ago.
It was at Wings Stadium in Kalamazoo.
If you're not familiar with Wings Stadium in Kalamazoo, it is a minor league hockey facility that was built probably in the 50s or 60s. And when we went, it looked like nobody had touched it since the 50s and 60s. It was like completely out of date. What I'm trying to say is, and they may have upgraded it since then, but at the time we went, Wings Stadium in Kalamazoo was an absolute dump.
We had just started dating. Were you even 21?
I think I just turned 21.
You just
so this
turned
is
21.
Many years ago, and I was a big White Zombie fan. I was like, hey, we should go to the show. And you, as the young girlfriend, were like, oh, I'm going to support my boyfriend in his interest. And I'm going to go to this White Zombie concert with him. We literally this place is a total dump. We walk in the door, and the first thing we see is this kid bending over, vomiting all over the concourse.
Yeah.
Cops grab him and haul him away.
Yeah.
We get to our seats. The show starts. There's fire shooting up from the stage, sparklers, pyrotechnics everywhere. Massive light show, and this, I don't even know what to call their music. Dance metal. I mean, it was just thrash guitars and yelling and screaming for 2 hours, and it was fantastic.
What a good girlfriend I was to go to that concert with you. I mean, you need to really ask yourself, what did you do to
The look
deserve
on
me?
your face when White Zombie hit the stage during that very first song was surprise.
It was like a walk into hell.
It was mostly terror.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing was, because we were working in music radio at the time, we got to meet the band backstage after the show.
What was the lady in the band? Darcy? Was that
Sean is her name. And she was the bassist in the band, and we got to meet her.
She was rolling around in rollerblades backstage.
She had rollerblades backstage, and that whole band, we met them all, and they were nice. They were nice.
They were scary, though.
They looked very rough. They looked like they had been on a 2-week bender when we saw them, and they sounded like they had been on a 2-week bender. It was a great show. Pitbull and Rob Zombie, get your concert calendar together. We're going to both of those shows this year.
So what do Americans think of Trump's first year in office? We've got some polling data coming up for you next on 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food. Crazy. Enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99. Destroy unwanted cravings. January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking at 8. Or January 31st, Holiday Inn Express Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking at 2. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Did you get a heating and air conditioning quote that you're just not sure of? Give us a call for a free second opinion.
317-577-8077 for Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She's showing her appreciation. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's 10:32 now. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado gifting her Nobel Peace Prize medal to President Trump during her meeting at the White House on Thursday. This comes after the Nobel Committee clarified that the Peace Prize cannot be transferred to another person. There are still questions about Machado's political future in Venezuela.
The president called the Venezuelan opposition leader there a wonderful woman after their meeting yesterday, but it does not appear that he gave her his political endorsement. She, however, gave over her Nobel Peace Prize. The president did not endorse her to take over Venezuela after the capture of Nicolas Maduro because he said at the time he did not think that she had the support on the ground needed to govern. So Trump continues to back acting President Delcy Rodriguez, despite criticism from activists that she represents the old Maduro regime.
That's Fox's Aisha Hasni at the White House. The Trump administration still hasn't clarified if or when the country will be allowed to hold new elections. As the Trump administration is threatening to seize Greenland from Denmark, U.S. lawmakers met with Danish and Greenlandic officials in Copenhagen to discuss preventing President Trump from acquiring the territory. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski believes that the vast majority of Americans do not support attacking Greenland.
When you ask the American people whether or not they think it is a good idea for the United States to acquire Greenland, the vast majority, some 75%, will say, we do not think that that is a good idea.
President Trump says Greenland is vital to U.S. security due to its location and abundance of raw materials. And Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin Tyler Robinson is set to appear in court ahead of his capital murder trial. His lawyers are pushing to disqualify the entire prosecuting team from the case, claiming a conflict of interest. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
So we just talked about how I have a birthday coming up on Monday. Yes,
Yeah.
It is Martin Luther King Day as well. Also Dolly Parton's birthday. And Pete Buttigieg.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I
sharing a birthday with that
forgot
guy.
you shared a birthday with Mayor Pete.
So last year for my birthday, you know where I was. Do you remember?
You were in Washington, D.C. covering Donald Trump's inauguration for WIBC.
Correct. So it has been 1 year that he has been in office, and there is some new polling that has come out. And this is, let's see, who did this polling? It's, if I could find it really quick. I don't see it in front of me. I'll get it for you here in just a second.
It was an AP NORC poll.
Is that who did it?
I don't know what they are, but it was the Associated Press and the NORC Center for Public Affairs Research.
Yes, you're correct. That's who did it. Okay, so let's take a little look at the numbers here. They say about 4 in 10 Americans, 40%, approve of Trump's performance, and that is roughly unchanged from March of last year. And his approval remains steady, reflecting a long-term trend similar to his first term.
I mean, Trump's going to have to do this. We have become a country where you've got these two large bases for each party, and then you've got a few people in the middle. So you've got about 40% probably that are massive Trump fans and love Trump no matter what. That's why he's got a 40% approval. You've got about 40% who absolutely hate Trump no matter what he does. If he could cure cancer, they would come out and say, this is the worst cancer cure I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got about 20% sitting in the middle. That's what you've got right here. So Trump is always going to have at least a floor of about 35 to 40% approval because his base is so loyal and so dedicated to him. And I can't even imagine what he would have to do to lose that core 40% of people. That he's got.
And just like the polar opposite, there's that base of people who hate him no matter what he does.
Absolutely. Like I said, Trump could cure cancer, and they would come out and say, something to the next. Well, have you cured, Alzheimer's yet? Good for you on cancer, but you didn't do this other one.
Right,
Yeah, they would come out and hate it.
So focus and priorities. Roughly 50% of Americans think he is focusing on the wrong priorities. About 20% say he's focusing on the right one. There's that other 20%, which you noted, that are kind of a mix. On the economy, only 37% approve of his handling of the economy. And that is up from December, where it was at his low at 31%. And 60% of people say that he has made the cost of living worse. Only 20% say he has helped. He was mentioning that the price of milk has gone down. You do the grocery shopping. Has the price of milk gone down?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly down off of its highs, from the COVID inflation of 2022 and 23. But I mean, at Meijer, a gallon of the Meijer brand milk is about $2.50, $3, somewhere in that range right now. And that's been that way for probably at least a year, if not a couple of years.
In regards to immigration, around half of Americans think that he has gone too far on deportations. 45% say that he has helped immigration and border security a lot or a little. The thing that I'm hearing a lot right now is with everything going on in Minneapolis and what's happening with ICE, people are saying there needs to be more oversight with ICE, and now they're going around asking people for their passport or proof that they are American citizens. And I ask you, I'm fine with that because I am an American citizen and I can prove that I am. So you're these people that are mad about that, you're upset that they want proof that you're an American citizen, but yet 5-6 years ago during COVID, you were okay with a restaurant owner demanding to see your vaccination card before you could eat at a restaurant?
Right now, in most states, if a police officer has probable cause to talk to you about something, even if you're not in your car, if you're just walking on the street, in most states, if they ask you for identification, you're required to provide identification. So this isn't that much more of a stretch beyond that to say, hey, can you prove your citizenship as part of this? Like I said, most states, if you have an interaction with a police officer and they say, hey, let me see your ID, you're required to provide them with your ID. That's been the case for centuries in this country.
So about 60% approve of his, disapprove, actually 60% disapprove of his foreign policy approach. They say that he has gone too far with military inventions, and they use Venezuela as an example, and also Greenland. And the key takeaways here, I guess, are that his approval remains stable but limited. There are some weak points and there are some high points.
People are not approving of what he's doing in Greenland. He hasn't done anything in Greenland.
Correct. He's talked.
That's the thing,
He's
right?
had meetings.
A lot of rhetoric, a lot of maybe things that might scare you a little bit. But let's not sit here and start blaming him for things that might happen. Let's focus on the things that are happening. And right now, except for some meetings, nothing really has happened in Greenland. Oh, and a bunch of strong language.
So Mark Harris is calling out his own party on the House floor, and he's talking about a year ago, Republicans were hyping Doge and Elon Musk, and they seem to be very serious about cutting out the fraud. And he's questioning, where is that enthusiasm now?
Only a year ago, several in my party were hyping up Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. I must ask, where's the enthusiasm now? Why are we not continuing to slash the waste, fraud, and abuse? We did it with USAID, NPR, and PBS. But listen, we can't stop there. While we're wielding the budget axe, let's be unequivocal about what should never receive another dime of taxpayer money.
Love hearing that.
Yeah, but then wasn't it just today that they signed the minibus bill?
Yeah, and I don't know this, House Reps voting record. Maybe he is one of the ones that is not voting for these massive spending projects like the big, beautiful bill. But at the very least, I got to give him credit. I love hearing somebody from either party coming out on the House floor and calling out the hypocrisy in their own party. And maybe if more members of the House and Senate did that, maybe we could actually change some of these votes that take place. So, remember there was a couple of months ago where some Democrat House member called out the Democrats because of election shenanigans in the Chicago area. Big shock.
Right.
Election shenanigans in the
Wait,
Chicago
what?
area. But I think she was from Washington or California and came out and said, look, we shouldn't be doing this. And I think that there's such a desire to see people politicians have these honest conversations and say, you know what, I don't care if this is my party. This isn't the way we should be doing things. So I applaud this rep for, at the very least, I don't know how he's voting, but at the very least had the guts to get up on the floor of the House and say, us as Republicans, we're not being fiscally conservative enough, and shame on Republicans for that.
So Donald Trump had a conversation with somebody from Reuters recently, and he commented that everything was going so well, they should just cancel elections. And then, of course, the mainstream media had to get all over, well, he's authoritarian, a dictator. He wants to cancel elections. Well, here's the White House press secretary, and she's saying, guys, it was a joke.
President Trump has talked twice in recent days, once at the Kennedy Center and then to Reuters again last night about canceling the election. Why is he talking about this?
I believe you're referring to the president's interview at Reuters last night. I was in that interview. It was a closed-door interview. Obviously, there was not audio or video. The president was simply joking. He was saying, we're doing such a great job. We're doing everything the American people thought. Maybe we should just keep rolling. But he was speaking facetiously.
You said that he was joking about canceling the elections. But Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy, for this democracy. Are you saying that the president finds the idea of canceling elections funny?
Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation. Ouch. And only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose it as a question in that way.
She's getting spicy with her answers, isn't she?
I love to see. What? Guys can't joke around anymore? Huh? We can't talk about canceling elections? A little jib-jab? Come on.
I think he even, because it's not the first time he said that. I saw a clip of him a little farther in the past where he was saying the same thing. And he even said, oh boy, I said that now. And everybody's going to say, Trump said I should cancel the elections. And of course, that's exactly what happened.
Trump is a mastermind at being able to poke the bear that is the mainstream media. They did the same thing when he said, I might run for election again in 2028. And they were like, Constitution! Right. And everybody was like, yeah, he's joking. There was a very smart pundit said, don't take Donald Trump literally, but always take him seriously.
Yeah.
He was not being literal when he said we're going to cancel the 26 midterm elections.
So his director of the National Economic Council said on Fox Business that Trump is creating a new world order.
There's also going to be some look at the new world order that President Trump is creating. And, a lot of countries that were, whining about tariffs 6 months ago and saying that President Trump was going to harm their economies had pretty good years. And I think it's in part because people recognize that President Trump has made it so that we are the shining city on the hill again. We are the engine of global economic growth because the U.S. is really that strong again.
So people are losing their minds over that phrase now. New world order. This is in regards to an upcoming speech that he has a Davos speech, right? And the phrase New World Order has long been associated with conspiracy theories and distrust. But isn't that the phrase that for decades you've had globalists and elitists and liberals using as they tried to create a new world order?
Yeah, I don't think it's any coincidence that he uses that phrase right before he speaks at Davos.
At Davos,
yeah,
right?
I mean, again, Trump is a brilliant communicator and a brilliant manipulator of communications, and so absolutely not an accident. Very intentional that he drops the phrase "New World Order" right before he walks into Davos.
If he means strength and independence, then yeah, okay. It is bold messaging to use their phrase against them. But in a way, when you look at Monroe Doctrine and everything that's going on with Venezuela and Greenland and some of the European countries not so happy with some of his decisions.
Sure.
Yeah, there is this kind of new world. I mean, we're looking at the map differently.
I think what Donald Trump is trying to do, possibly by using that, he's trying to redefine the phrase
Rebrand
New World
it.
Order, right, and take it for himself. He's like, okay, like I know the word New World Order has been out there for whatever 30 years. I think George H.W. Bush famously used it in a speech in the 80s. But he's now saying, okay, look, I'm going to take over this phrase called New World Order, and it's going to be what I view as the New World Order, and it's going to be America kind of pushing itself around in these other countries that haven't been pulling their weight to get what we need as Americans.
Okay, so let's talk about what happened in Detroit. You've got the North American Auto Show, right? Have you ever,
Always a big deal.
Have you ever been to that?
You know what? I lived in Detroit for a number of years. I never made it to the Detroit Auto Show, but that is a big deal for that city.
They've named the car of the year and also the truck of the year, the utility vehicle of the year. So you've got the Dodge Charger Scat Pack was named as the 26th North American Car of the Year.
Really?
$49,995. It's praised for its tour de force and returned to the brand's gas-powered roots after a move towards electric vehicles. So they're saying, good on you, Dodge, for going back to gas-powered.
Right, to kind of redoing the muscle car. And that's really kind of where Chrysler and Dodge have done the last few years, whether it's with the Challenger and the Charger and, you know, the Hellcat package that you can buy on those that puts each of them over 700 horsepower. That's interesting and certainly not a politically correct and certainly not an environmentally correct award for that. So I guess good for them for giving Dodge that award.
They say that the North American Truck of the Year is the Ford Maverick Lobo, $35,930.
I do kind of like those smaller. Ford has two smaller trucks, the Maverick and the Ranger, and I do kind of like them because the last time I drove a full size pickup truck. Man, it is difficult getting into some parking spaces. Those things are I mean, I loved it. It was huge. I mean, I felt like I was.
You felt like you dominated the road.
I felt like I was driving on stilts. You're so far off the ground. But it does make navigating some low-hanging parking garages with low clearance. There was one of those I went through where I thought I was for sure going to be scraping the top of the cab, and just getting in out of smaller parking spots and smaller parking lots makes
harder
those
to
difficult.
Get around a big city too, where you've got the signs and parking that say compact car only.
It is much easier to get around in the country with those, and that's why the Ford Maverick and the Ford Ranger are kind of interesting to me.
The
as
Ford
they're
Maverick
smaller.
one because they say it's fun to drive, it's sporty, compact, it has an affordable price at $35,000, and it creates a new class of small performance-focused trucks. Finally, they named the North American Utility Vehicle of the Year, which is the Hyundai Palisade, $38,935, and it won because it's an excellent family SUV with 3 rows of seating, high-end interior, and a strong safety feature.
But they call it the utility vehicle. Why can't they just call it the SUV?
Yeah.
Or the sport utility? Because when I hear utility vehicle, I'm thinking like a cherry picker. I'm thinking some sort of industrial equipment, a dump truck. That's a utility vehicle to me, not some soccer mom SUV.
Now, in other car news...
More car news?
Well, I went to motorbiscuit.com.
My new favorite automotive website, motorbiscuit.com.
Honda is updating their iconic H logo for the first time in 25 years. They say the change is part of what the company has called second founding.
So I dug into this when you sent me this story on the template, because I was fearful that we were going to be dealing with another Cracker Barrel situation where they, have this classic logo that is completely blown up and completely different. The Honda logo, it's changing, but it's a pretty minor change. There's not much difference. It's still the Honda logo has been
still an H,
classic H. They just kind of like how to describe the legs of the H are just kind of bent outwards a little bit. That's really the majority of the change in the logo. Not really that big of a change.
They've updated their logo 4 other times: 1969, 81, 91, and 2000. So they say this is going beyond conventional ideas. All right, we've got to take a break, and there is some news in college basketball, a scheme. We're going to talk about it coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
When you have a fire emergency, you need a restoration company you can trust to put everything back together. Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. I know, I've relied on Michaelis after a fire at my home. I'm here with the owner, Richard Michaelis. Richard, what makes Michaelis the right call if you have a fire?
Michaelis is local and family owned. We are your neighbors, 39 years of experience, and we'll respond 24/7, 365. The Michaelis Corporation is IICRC certified. We will restore your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
I've lived it. Michaelis was on the scene at my home before the firefighters had even rolled up their hoses. They asked me about calling a restoration company. I told them I had Michaelis. They told me Michaelis was the real deal. You help with insurance, too?
Yes, we'll work through the insurance process to give you peace of mind.
Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Let's say we start that new year with a new car at Tom Roush Lincoln. Hurry in for the 8-9-10 deal. Get $8,000 off new Nautilus or $9,000 off new Corsair. Or how about $10,000 off Lincoln Aviator? The 8-9-10 deal right now at Tom Roush Lincoln. Come get a great deal on all three from Tom Roush, where our family served yours since 1972.
Corsair stock number L25566, MSRP 55340. Nautilus stock number L26030, MSRP 62705. Aviator stock number L25384, MSRP 79450. See dealer for complete offer details.
When it's cold, the last thing you want is your home's heater to quit on you. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you warm and comfortable quickly. Just call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com. Don't forget, we're
Always on time, or you don't pay on time. Always on time, or you don't pay on time.
independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
6 superfans, dressed to the tens, crammed onto a 3-person couch, and armed with a dozen chicken wings. Now that's how you finish off the season. Gear up for the championship game at your local Academy Sports and Outdoor store in Bloomington. Score Indiana jerseys, shirts, caps, and more. The store will be open post-game if Indiana wins the championship. Rep your team today. Visit Academy Sports and Outdoors at 123 South Kingston Drive in Bloomington today.
Hey, it's Tyrese Halliburton. I've met some incredible people right here in Indiana, all waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. Different backgrounds, different stories, but they all had one thing in common: hope. Saying yes to organ donation provides that hope. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives. That's 8 families who get more time together. You have the power to save lives. So next time you're at the BMV, or even right now at DonateLifeIndiana.org, say yes to organ donation.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
If you stopped paying your financial advisor, would they still be your friend? A different look at retirement planning with Greg Ayler. Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBC.
Celebrate in red, white, and blue with Hammer and Nigel at Woodland Bowl January 16th. They're live at 3 and bowling kicks off at 6:30. Go to WIBC.com for your chance to win tickets to the sold-out Red, White, and Bowl presented by Jack Daniels and benefiting the Bowlers to Veterans link.
So there's been a scheme to rig college basketball games that's been uncovered. Federal authorities revealed a betting and game-fixing ring spanning the Chinese Basketball Association and the NCAA. 26 people have been charged, including current and former college players. Charges include bribery, wire fraud, and conspiracy. We'll get into this a little bit more, I think, because we've got to get to the news here shortly.
This has got everything for the modern day life in America. It's sports betting. It's, college athletics. It's NIL plays a factor into this that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But it's fascinating. And interestingly enough, it's from a bunch of players and schools you've probably never heard of.
So we'll get you updated on the news, and also Indianapolis making news with not only the National Association of Realtors, but also Zillow. What's going on with housing here in central Indiana? We'll talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1 day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Dugan Air Heating and Cooling at Mitsubishi Electric Studios, how many years a man who killed an Indiana State Trooper is getting where a shooting in Indianapolis went down in the early morning hours. Hear from Indiana's 2 U.S. senators on some recent events regarding Minnesota and Venezuela, plus an IU player's assessment of the Miami defense ahead of the national championship game. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. Time for Fox News. It's 11 o'clock.
A plan President Trump says health insurance companies don't like. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Because they spent hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're going to have that money spent to the people and given to the people.
President Trump touting a blueprint for reform he calls.
This is called officially the Great Health Care Plan. That means low price and great health care.
Also touting at a roundtable this morning, $50 billion in rural health care funding,
which will benefit Americans in all 50 states. And this made possible and was made possible by cutting massive waste, fraud, and abuse from Medicaid.
Democrats have blamed the president and Republicans for allowing some Obamacare tax credits to expire last year, increasing the cost of coverage for millions of Americans. The president now has the Nobel Peace Prize. Maria Corina Machado gave it to him as a gift, telling Fox afterward.
I decided to present the Nobel Peace Prize medal on behalf of the people of Venezuela.
After the U.S. operation that ousted leader Nicolas Maduro, who persecuted Machado for her opposition push for democracy, which is the reason the Nobel Committee awarded her. The U.S. is sending an aircraft carrier to the Middle East as President Trump still considers taking action against Iran for a deadly crackdown on protesters that a hardline cleric wants to continue.
Ahmed Khatami's sermon was carried on Iran's state radio. In it, he called for demonstrators to be put to death, a call echoed by a chanting congregation. He described protesters as the butlers of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the soldiers of President Donald Trump. Americans and Zionists, Khatami added, should not expect peace.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Charlie Kirk's accused assassins due back in court today for another hearing.
Lawyers for Tyler Robinson argue because a prosecutor's adult child was at the Turning Point USA event when Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, they can't stand partial, therefore they should be removed. Prosecutors, though, are saying the adult child couldn't see who fired the shots and had no firsthand knowledge of the killing.
That's Jeff Paul. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's getting 50 years. Sky is still cloudy as we reach 30 this hour. Right now 32, but feels like 17. And the high will be towards 37 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A Missouri man is spending the next few decades in prison for killing an Indiana state trooper 3 years ago. 20-year-old Eddie Jones was just sentenced this morning in Hendricks County. His sentencing is for 50 years, with 40 of those years behind bars without the chance of parole and 10 years on probation. Jones pleaded guilty to multiple charges relating to when he was in a stolen car, leading police on a chase in June of 2023 in Indianapolis that resulted in the death of State Trooper Aaron Smith. A shooting from this morning happening in the same area as a shooting from early Thursday morning. Police say they found 2 people shot on North Colorado Avenue, just off 34th and Sherman. Both were taken to a hospital with one of them in critical condition. IMPD hasn't said whether the 2 incidents are connected. Indiana Republican Senator Jim Banks is calling the situation in Minneapolis despicable as federal ICE agents face nightly attacks during the many deportation operations.
These ICE agents are there to keep us safe, to deport criminal illegals. That's exactly what Donald Trump was elected to do. He was elected to get these criminal illegals off of our streets.
That's Banks on the Hammer and Nigel show on Thursday. He's blaming Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for the violence, accusing his administration of placating radicals and endangering law enforcement. The other Indiana senator is commenting on if the United States military should be heavily involved in what's going on in Venezuela.
That's a question that Indiana Republican Senator Todd Young did his best to answer on Thursday while speaking on the Senate floor. I'm John Herrick.
I strongly believe that any such commitment of U.S. forces in Venezuela must be subject to debate and authorization in Congress.
He also went on to say that a drawn-out campaign in Venezuela involving the American military, even if unintended, would be the opposite of President Trump's goal of ending foreign entanglements. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Pacers are back out on the court tonight hosting the Toronto Raptors. Tip-off is at 7, and the Indiana Hoosiers are about 8-point favorites to win the national championship game over Miami on Monday. Wide receiver Elijah Surratt on what he sees from the Hurricane defense.
Mostly zone on the year, cover 4, cover 2, but they do run man a lot as well. I say that's the second coverage, cover 1. There are a lot of one-high safeties most of the time. So
he's caught 15 touchdowns this season. The last time he didn't have a touchdown in a game was Week 3. Monday's title game kickoff is at 7:30. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing.
I don't have any cravings.
You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Stop smoking with hypnosis guaranteed with no irritability and no cravings. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Hypnosis programs are Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss hypnosis at 5:30, stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Or Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m., stop smoking hypnosis at 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
A little behind the scenes, what happens during the commercial breaks or when the news is going on. What do? You're looking at the money line for the IU game.
I may have my DraftKings app open, sure.
Maybe.
Just for fun.
Uh-huh. So what, you were saying that it started at 5.5 and then it jumped up to 7.5, then to 8.5. Where's it at now?
So we're talking about the IU National Championship game against Miami. And yeah, the line has been slowly increasing. And IU keeps giving up more and more points. Yeah, the line is 8.5 right now, but there are a handful of betting apps out there that have got it up to 9.
9.
And so I get nervous. And this is the way the gambling world looks at things. The gambling world looks at things and split into two things. There's the public, that's like me betting, and then there's professional gamblers and what they're betting. The public is all in on IU. They think it's going to be a blowout over Miami. The professional gamblers are saying that's way too many points to give up, and their money is going toward Miami getting all of those points. I get nervous when everybody is like, oh, yeah, this game, IU, everybody thinks IU is going to win this game, probably win it big. That's when I start getting a little nervous. So, yes, I'm a little nervous for IU in this game on Monday, just based on how everybody assumes that they're going to win it.
Don't want to get overconfident. Did you see the map that somebody put out? Everybody rooting for IU. It was red across the entire country. There was a little section of green down by Miami, and then a little section of green in Lafayette, and a little section of green in South Bend. And unless you're from Indiana, you may not get that joke.
Yeah, that was a pretty inside Indiana sports joke. And the funny thing was, the green part around South Bend said meteor strike. I was like, wow, that's a Notre Dame hater that created that graphic, but it was pretty funny and fairly accurate, I guess. My guess is the IU story has been like a Disney movie practically, and so the vast majority of the country is hoping that the Hoosiers can pull it off, and Miami, rightly so, being portrayed as the bad guys, as they always are.
Just like Coach Signetti said, it's like a movie, right?
It is. It'd make a heck of a movie. Yes.
Make a heck of a movie.
And it will. Somebody's going to make a movie about it.
So you've got Donald Trump and also the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, planning on attending the game. Let's see here. The quote from an insider says they like to bro out over football. It's not all talk about Venezuela.
There was also, obviously, Marco Rubio from Florida, from Miami. He's a big Miami Hurricanes fan. He's made no doubt
Didn't
about it.
he go to school there? I think he's a grad.
I'm not sure if he's an alumni as well.
Yeah,
but
he did. He went to university.
He's made it clear that he's pulling for the University of Miami. And while Trump did not come out specifically and say he's rooting for IU, he kind of danced around the fact that him and Rubio are on opposite sides of this game. So Trump pretty much pulling for IU on this one, and Rubio pulling for his alma mater.
No, actually, Rubio, he went to University of Florida.
Okay, but still, he's from Miami. He's from Florida. He's got a big allegiance there. Makes sense that he would be, certainly pulling for Miami Hurricanes in this game.
Rubio, his son, Anthony Rubio, grew up playing football with some of the Miami players. So he's got some other connections there.
Well, you're gonna have a rough Tuesday morning when Miami loses, Rubio. Sorry about that, but it's the price.
So have we checked on ticket price for that game recently?
So here's what's going on with that, and each university gets a certain allotment, and then the rest is given to corporate sponsors, and there are none that are available for the general public for the most part. on that. What we're seeing as far as ticket prices and what traditionally happens in these situations are as you get closer to the game, prices on the secondary market start dropping.
Right.
So you can usually get your best deals like the day before the game or sometime the morning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
What the experts and ticket brokers are saying, that's likely not going to be the case in this specific one because there is so much demand for two reasons. It's a home game for Miami because they're playing in their home stadium and it's in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've all heard that, IU has the largest living alumni base around the country with 800,000 living alumni. And there are a lot of people that are trying to go to this game. So this is one of the rare instances where you're probably not going to see this discount in secondary ticket pricing happen, Sunday and then Monday morning. It's likely that the price at the very least is going to stay the same or not increase. And I last time I checked it was last night, the cheapest price to get in the door was about $3,000.
Okay.
So $3,000, and there are people that are paying.
That's where it was the other day.
Yeah, it hasn't moved very much, but if you see any movement, it'll certainly happen this weekend. And then if you want good seats, I mean, there are some seats that people are asking $50,000 for a ticket for, and you're, in the lower section right on the 50-yard line. Now, they're not saying that they're selling for that much, but they are saying that at least they're being asked for and they're being priced on the secondary market as high as $50,000.
So you're right. Donald Trump hasn't declared a favorite, but his aides say that he has been praising Fernando Mendoza as everybody else has and should.
$3,260 is officially the official cheapest get-in price, and that gets you top of the stadium in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
So about the worst seats in the entire place. But yeah, $3,200.
Okay. And what Governor Braun mentioned it in his State of the State address that he would leave it up to the individual schools to decide if they were going to delay start time on Tuesday by a few hours.
Yeah, a lot of Indiana, both grade schools and high schools are trying to push for, hey, maybe we just start a 2-hour delay. What I'm also waiting for is the inevitable bet between the two governors. Because that's always the case.
Sure.
So Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, Mike Braun, the governor of Indiana, will have some sort of bet where, if IU loses, Braun will send him, Indiana popcorn and other, treats from this area. And we'll get from Florida, we'll get a bag of oranges or something like that.
Oranges or some oysters, perhaps, from the
Apalachicola
Bay.
From the Gulf of America, oysters, yes. So,
There you
but
go.
that's coming. So keep an eye on your social media posts from the governor of Florida and the governor of Indiana.
So I had mentioned it yesterday that there are some people who are not happy with the idea that Donald Trump is going to the game because they don't want the focus on him. They want it on the game and the players. And I was asking you who is airing the game, and you said it's on ESPN, right?
It's on ESPN, so ESPN.
So ESPN's not going to even show him.
ESPN
He'll show up, and they may pan to him.
They have not even tried to hide the fact that they've turned that once glorious channel of ESPN into an absolute bastion of liberal politics pushing into sports. And so I can't imagine ESPN will have much interest in showing a lot of Donald Trump. They'll probably give him the cursory 5-second shot of, hey, Donald Trump, the president, is here in the suite, and that's probably it. So I don't see any scenario where Donald Trump being there really takes the focus away from the game. He's barely going to get any TV time, is my guess.
Won't be far. If he's at Mar-a-Lago, he'll just jaunt right down to the
Made
stadium.
it easy. He's probably going to hang out at Mar-a-Lago this weekend. He'll be there Monday morning, and then he'll, go to the national championship game right down the road, and then probably fly back to D.C. after that.
All right, let's talk about this scheme to rig college basketball games, which has been uncovered. So we're talking 26 people have been charged, including current and former college players. The charges include bribery, wire fraud, and conspiracy. This is how the scheme worked. Fixers recruited players to intentionally underperform in games. So they wanted them to throw the game.
Yeah, and these are still Division I programs, but they're very low level. And I'm going to guess you probably even haven't ever heard of some of these universities. Abilene Christian, New Orleans University, Alabama State.
Okay.
So probably some university. Northwestern State. Not Northwestern, that's part of the Big Ten. So these were lower level players and lower level programs. And then the story, it came out, these fixers targeted those schools and those teams specifically because those players don't get much NIL money.
Right.
See, isn't it fascinating how NIL has changed everything? And now if I'm trying to fix college basketball or college football games, I can't go to the big ones because those players are all getting paid hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars a year. What I'm going to give them to throw the game isn't going to be enough to sway them more than likely. But if I go to some of these small schools like Nicholls State and I give a player, hey, here's $20,000, I want you to fix the game. Okay, that kid's not getting a ton of NIL money. That's probably going to entice that person to do that.
Right. They'd be more likely to do it. But as you mentioned, well, $20,000 is a substantial amount of money. It's not millions. So it's going to take a little longer to notice something like that.
Well, kind of, because that's the...
Well, this has been going on since 2023.
Here's the deal, though. With the advent of all of the betting apps and so much data being gathered out there, I saw one report that talked about how these gamblers ended up betting $400,000 on one game. Wow. Nobody's betting that kind of money on these games. And so with all of that data easily be able to access, DraftKings is going to get an alert when somebody places a huge bet like that, and they're going to be like, this is way out of bounds. We normally don't even take in $10,000 in betting for this game from everyone, and now we got one dude throwing $400,000 on it. So it's become, with the betting apps, much easier to spot these anomalies and then create a file and say, okay, look, this is one we've got to look into a little bit further, and that's exactly what happened right here. They dug into it. It turned out it was a lot more widespread than what they thought.
So you got to imagine that the NCAA wants to get this story wrapped up very quickly.
For sure, but this has been going on. Look, fixing sports games, especially college basketball games, been around, for decades. There was a massive point shaving scandal in the early 50s that took place. There was a lot of rumors and talk about it in the 70s and 80s. Gamblers trying to fix games, especially in college basketball, been going on for a long time. It's just now being brought to the digital age because everybody can just make bets on their phone right now.
Well, it does mirror some of these prior scandals. You had that one big one, the pro basketball one, the gambling ring.
Absolutely. That was just recently, just within this last year, they made arrests on for the NBA.
Right. And you had these baseball players that were charged with bribery.
There was a huge referee scandal about 10 years ago in the NBA where some refs were caught, fixing games. This has been going on for a long time. You can't blame the fact that now you can gamble on sports in most states and do it right on your phone. That's not driving this.
Is this part of a wider gambling issue since 2018 when the Supreme Court said, yeah, you can, when they legalized sports betting?
They did. But again, because so much of this is done electronically, it's much easier to have the proof and get caught. It used to be in the 80s, you'd give your bookie $10,000 and you'd make an illegal bet. And if you were fixing the game, it was difficult to figure out that you were fixing the game because the bookie's not reporting that $10,000 bet to anybody. But now if I'm making that bet on DraftKings, well, now the algorithms can flag that bet as being so out of bounds from normal that all of a sudden the spotlight gets turned to me. So there's always been people that are trying to fix games. Go back to the 1919 White Sox and the Black Sox scandal and shoeless Joe Jackson. This has been going on for over 100 years. It's going to keep going on.
Now there's just a digital footprint.
It's going to keep going on for the next 100 years. It's just being done in the modern age now.
It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
New Year's resolutions come and go. Big Ten wins, you earn those.
Norton in the corner, bingo!
Big Ten basketball means tougher defenses, louder buildings, and zero margin for error. Coach Darren DeVries has the Hoosiers ready for the work.
Our mindset has to be, regardless of shots falling, our defense has to keep us in the game.
Up next, IU versus Iowa, Saturday at 2. No fluff, no filler. Hoosier basketball on 93 WIBC.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Here are just a few hot buys going on in January. Lift chairs starting at $5.99. Lazy Boy recliners starting at $4.99. Queen Tempur-Pedic mattresses, $71 per month. Smith Brothers sofas, $18.99. Up to 25% off all outdoor furniture. Reclining sofas starting at $6.99. Sale ends Monday. Free delivery. Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Oil lights never come on at a good time.
you've got enough to juggle. So let Take 5 handle it. Drive in, stay in your car, and roll out in 10 minutes. No waiting room, no stress. Just fast, friendly service. Visit take5.com today to find your nearest shop.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This hour powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard Air dealer. Nobody cares for you like family.
After more than 13 years at the helm of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy stepping down from Star Wars, that factory founded by George Lucas.
Star Wars fans everywhere are celebrating.
So happy.
She did her best to single-handedly ruin one of the most beloved movie franchises in American history. This all, when George Lucas sold his company, Lucas Films, to Disney, they put this woman, Kathleen Kennedy, in charge of it, and she immediately... And there were leaked recordings of conversations that they had and recorded Zoom calls that proved all this out. She immediately instituted every big, bad, nasty thing that's part of DEI into all of those movies and TV shows. And it's been going on
fans
for over a decade now. Yeah. And like I said, she did her best to ruin the entire Star Wars franchise. And everybody is saying pretty much good riddance to her.
So they've got a new president and chief creative officer. His name is Dave Filoni. But Filoni has experience. He's the one who got some of the Star Wars movies animated. How do you feel about that? The animation of the Star Wars.
I mean, it's fine. I think there's a place for it. You want to have the Star Wars discussion right now? Let's do it. Okay, fine.
Okay.
So I have not dug into. I don't do the animated ones, but the handful of shows that are getting critical acclaim and are favored by the Star Wars community happen to be the TV shows that are streaming and not so much the movies. The Mandalorian and Andor have both, in general, the consensus in the Star Wars community
$5.6 billion is what they've made on those two shows.
And those have universally been well accepted and liked by the Star Wars community. It's been a lot of the other shows they've done. It's been the movies that they've done. The Star Wars community has definitely shunned a lot of what Disney has done with that franchise since they purchased it from George Lucas. And this woman at the helm of it all, Kathleen Kennedy, was the chief instigator of all of that.
Yeah, for 13 years, a lot of people are really happy about it. They say that a lot of the films have been inconsistent as well. And
it's just not good.
The vision of the franchise totally changed after she took over.
Yeah, look, they just haven't been good. DEI is one thing, and you can talk about that they might have deprived certain actors that were better qualified for those roles by putting other people in there. But at the end of the day, when you produce something that's just garbage, that's not very good and not very entertaining, that's been the biggest problem. And the second round, or the most recent round of the trilogy movies have been mediocre at best. And a lot of the TV shows and other things they've done have just been all downright awful. It's generally accepted in the Star Wars community that the first one that they launched after Disney bought them, Rogue One, was the best out of all of them. And it's probably because Disney didn't have the chance to get their hooks into it yet.
Right. They were still
by the
getting
time
used to
it was
the franchise.
put out. Yeah.
Okay, so there's Star Wars, and then there is Star Trek, also having its own issues. Paramount spent between $6 and $10 million an episode
per episode
on Star Trek Starfleet Academy.
This is the brand new Star Trek series that Paramount is putting out.
And they put the premiere on YouTube for free, and it only got 1,300 live viewers.
Can you imagine? You spend $10 million an
$10 million.
episode. You put it on YouTube, where pretty much everybody has access to. Everybody consumes everything on YouTube, and you had 1,300 people watching it live. That's it.
That's so sad.
Also, I haven't read in. I'm not as
another
much,
franchise that's just gone downhill.
Yeah, I'm not much of a Trekkie. I've watched the movies and seen a couple of the TV shows, much more of a Star Wars guy as opposed to a Star Trek guy, but looked into this as well. And again, this has turned, they just made a woke version of Star Wars, or Star Trek,
Well,
rather.
they've got these Starfleet Academy people. They're all taking this literally DEI training in the show.
In the show. How about that? Hey, look, I know that this is about space and sci-fi,
The final
and the
frontier.
final frontier, but let's have a DEI training seminar as part of one of the episodes.
Yeah. No wonder nobody was watching it. Nobody
Exactly.
wants to see that.
I'm surprised they got 1,300 people. Who are the 1,300 people that found that entertaining?
Isn't entertainment like that supposed to be a little bit of escapism? You don't want that shoved in your face all the time.
But I'm not saying anything new here. This has been a problem with Hollywood in general for decades, where they have been pushing their political agenda on everything. What's going to be interesting now is Hollywood does not have nearly the power over American pop culture and consumerism as it used to.
Right.
And so they can't just keep throwing garbage up against the wall and expect the American consumers to pay for it or even watch it. And I think we saw that here with Star Trek. So these companies are going to have to feel financial pain. And it looks like Paramount with Star Trek could be facing some significant financial pain. But that's the only way they're going to change the way they do things. They have to see that financial pain from their decisions before they change it and actually put out some entertaining content.
Now, I saw this article, and I'm just going to be honest. I have no idea who this person is.
Who is it?
Zoe Saldana?
Oh,
An
yeah,
actress?
Zoe Saldana, yes.
She is now the highest grossing actor/actress of all time. So my question is, who? And maybe that's because I'm not a big fan of going to the movies and I'm not, up to date on
You would
anything at the box office at the movie theater, but who?
You would recognize her. Well, you might recognize
She's an
her if you saw
Avatar?
her. So she was in two massive franchises
Okay.
that generated billions of dollars, and that's how she get it. She's one of the people that are in Avatar, but she also played in Guardians of the Galaxy. And
okay. She was
then
in
the Avengers movies,
Yeah,
too. So you've
okay.
got these, she was part of two just massive franchises that generated billions and billions in box office dollars, and so she is now, her movies that she's been part of, even though I don't believe she's the star in Avatar. She's certainly not the lead in Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvels either. She's a strong secondary role in both. But because she was in both of them,
and they
add all that money
Right, they were
together when they
successful.
total up the box office.
Okay, I do
receipts.
recognize her now that I pull up a picture of her. But
She played Gamora, which was a green-skinned alien
Of
in
course.
the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers movies.
well, she is now the highest grossing actor of all time, $15.46 billion. It used to be
$15 billion.
Yeah, it used to be Scarlett Johansson also in Avengers.
Part of the Avengers
right?
movies as well. She played Black Widow.
She's barely, this Zoe is barely beating Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson is now $15.40 billion. And I've got the top 10 lists here for you.
Please
Yeah.
hit me with it, because for a long time it was Harrison Ford was the top grossing, because he was in Star Wars and then the Indiana Jones movies.
He's not even in the top 10 anymore.
No longer. Interesting.
Yeah. So you've got Zoe at number 1, Scarlett Johansson number 2, followed by Samuel L. Jackson.
Again, Star Wars.
$14 billion.
He was in the Star Wars franchise.
Robert Downey Jr., $14 billion.
Iron Man, back to Marvel.
Then Chris Pratt.
Guardians of the Galaxy. He was the lead from Guardians of the Galaxy.
And then Tom Cruise at $12 billion.
The Mission Impossible movies, obviously.
Chris Hemsworth, also $12 billion.
Another Marvel Avengers guy.
Vin Diesel, $12 billion.
Fast and Furious. When you make 32 Fast and Furious movies, you're going to end up being on this list.
Chris Evans at $11 billion.
Captain America, back to Avengers.
And then Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at $11 billion. They all made their money on franchises, not single hits.
Well, that's where Hollywood makes all their money on franchises. People sit here and complain about how Hollywood doesn't put out anything new. They just get more Marvel movies and more
Right,
advertiser
it's the same story on repeat.
Those are the ones that make the money, man. Hollywood's going to go to where the money is. And if you're making a ton of money making Marvel movies, you're just going to keep making more and more Marvel movies.
Money that you and I will never see in our lives.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't even have enough money to buy a ticket to the movies these days, it seems like.
That's true. It is
Expensive.
the Kendall Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Neighborhoods are popping up everywhere, but if you want something different than what you're currently seeing, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, can build you a unique, custom home on your own private lot or anywhere you can bring your own builder. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. Visit Joyner Homes Model Homes or go to joynerhomes.com to see floor plans and pricing and more. With Joyner Homes, you can even start from scratch if you want. Check out their 5-star Google reviews and visit joynerhomes.com.
Join me January 24th as we sip some bourbon and talk about how we win the midterms. Trump, 1 year later, the Red Tie Gala, the highs of the last year, the lows of the last year, and how we win the midterms. We're going to drink great bourbon, eat great food, laugh a lot. Come join me January 24th, 2026, downtown Indianapolis at the Hyatt Regency. Trump, 1 year later, with me, Tony Katz. Go to tickets.tonykatz.com, tickets.tonykatz.com, or get your tickets right now at WIBC.com, and join me for some great bourbon January 24th.
A diagnosis of Alzheimer's can make it a struggle to communicate with loved ones. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I've got a tip which often helps that will be music to your ears. Don't go away.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
A growing number of studies show the power of music's role in those living with Alzheimer's. The next time a loved one seems to be tuned out, gently place headphones on them or simply turn on one of their favorite songs. Watch their eyes light up, and don't be surprised if they sing along or start chatting about the tune. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
For your free system replacement analysis, give family a call today at 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Locking him away for a long time. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending this hour. A Missouri man is sentenced to 50 years behind bars for running into an Indiana state trooper with a stolen car and killing him. 20-year-old Eddie Jones appeared in Hendricks County Court this morning. His sentence is for 40 years in prison and 10 years on probation. Trooper Aaron Smith was killed while attempting to deploy stop sticks during a high-speed chase. 2 people are injured from a shooting happening early this morning on Indy's east side. And from the halls of the Capitol to the end zones of Miami, Senator Jim Banks says he's a diehard believer in the undefeated 15-0 Indiana Hoosiers.
When I was a student in Bloomington in the late 90s, the football program was so bad that they gave away free football tickets to students who lived in dorms just to get us to show up so that half of the stadium would be full.
While on with WIBC's Hammer and Nigel Thursday, Banks says he's confident he'll see a win over the Hurricanes on Monday. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The delegates argued deep into the night. Outside, snow fell on a city divided. Inside Independence Hall, a quiet revolution was unfolding within the revolution itself.
WIBC celebrates the spirit of 76. Brought to you by Tony Katz presents Trump 1 year later.
January 16th, 1776. Congress approved the enlistment of free black men into the Continental Army. Many had already fought bravely at Lexington and Bunker Hill, but now their service was formally recognized. Thousands would join the ranks. Soldiers whose courage stood as living proof that liberty could not belong to one race alone, and pushed a young nation toward the ideals it had written, but not yet lived.
The spirit of 76. History remembered. Freedom celebrated. Sponsored by Trump. 1 year later, an evening of insight, conversation, and bourbon with Tony Katz. Tickets available at WIBC.com.
Is the IRS actually doing something that we can get behind?
I don't believe you.
Okay, so the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, he announced that the IRS is launching a massive audit of financial institutions that have facilitated the laundering of funds in Minnesota. Let me read that again. The IRS is launching audits of financial institutions that facilitated laundering.
I stand corrected. This is something I can get behind. Absolutely. This is what the IRS should be doing.
All right, here's the Treasury Secretary.
Civil enforcement is auditing financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds, in addition to helping support criminal and civil enforcement efforts. The IRS will also soon announce the formation of a task force.
Okay, so let's break this down just a bit. They're gonna look into what banks and financial middlemen and anybody who helped move some dirty money, but that's gonna cost you money. So they're gonna
That's okay.
they're gonna charge you to find the fraud that's charging you.
I'm okay with all of this. These people that pulled off this fraud in Minneapolis, and it's probably happening in many other states, should absolutely be investigated by every branch of the federal government that we can find to throw at them. And so if we've got to use the IRS, I mean, this is a much better use of the IRS's resources going after corporate fraud that defrauded not only individuals, but defrauded the federal government and taxpayers potentially out of billions of dollars. That's exactly what the IRS should be focusing their resources on, a little bit less by auditing average everyday Americans.
So they got to follow the money, audit everything, and then prosecute people who broke the law. But this should not just be focused on Minneapolis. Or
No,
Minnesota, because this is happening in other states.
Absolutely should be investigated everywhere that we think it's happening. I think this is the most high profile, and I think that we've got the most, at the very least, circumstantial evidence that this is happening in Minnesota. So, yeah, start there. That's the low-hanging fruit. And once you get those guys and bust them and send some people to jail over this, then move on to another state that's doing similar things and defrauding the federal government and stealing tax dollars.
I believe it was Ilhan Omar who's, it's her. She's still denying that there's any fraud in Minnesota. Check this out.
Congresswoman Omar, yesterday you told me to please read when I asked you about the $9 billion fraud that you denied is happening, but I have it right here. I read. Look, Chairman Comer opens hearing on massive fraud scandal, $9 billion.
That's what Comer believes because he's as smart as you are.
It's not just Comer. It's Scott Besson. It's federal prosecutors. It's House Oversight. And it's Minnesota State reps.
You could have that, ma'am. I think you need to get examined because your brain has been fried in some way, and it's not okay. I really hope you get some help. You and the Republicans here. Take care, okay, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I couldn't go to the learning centers that you're running over in Minnesota, but I think you should perhaps read what's actually.
You need one of those learning centers.
I need one of those learning centers.
Yeah, let's see it.
Look, I mean, the sad thing about all of this is Ilhan Omar is probably going to win re-election in her district at the end of this year. I mean,
think so?
and it's extremely Democratic area. She has a certain amount of power within the Democrat Party. I'm going to guess she'll probably run unopposed, and it's going to be difficult for a Republican to break into a solid Democrat district like that. She can come out and pretty much say whatever she wants. She can, you can look to the sky, and she'll tell you that the sky is red when it's actually blue, and it doesn't matter because she'll likely just get reelected in that Minnesota district again.
Aren't they uncovering that her net worth now is something like $30 million? I mean, it seems like she's the one who's profiting off of this fraud.
And she's not the only one. They all are on both sides of the aisle. All of these politicians walk in there working class and leave their cushy government jobs as multimillionaires.
When will she be investigated? I mean, when is that going to happen?
Look, if they haven't investigated Nancy Pelosi for insider trading, I mean, there are blogs, there are websites, there are Twitter accounts that just track Nancy Pelosi's trades because they have to be publicly disclosed. And, it turns out she's the smartest Wall Street investor in the history of mankind. with how much money she's made. So if they haven't investigated her,
Right.
that's the easy one. It's probably going to be a long time before they get down the rung to investigating Ilhan Omar on this.
So the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, they're projecting that it will cost between $10 and $125 million. That's a big difference, $10 million and $125 million.
Just a little bit.
But that's how much it's going to cost to rebrand the Department of Defense to the Department of War.
And I'm going to get, is that just changing signs?
Yeah, signs, letterhead, websites, defense.gov, war.gov, flags, plaques, badges, training material, all of it. The CBO says that the Pentagon didn't provide full info, so the costs are uncertain. That's why. It's between 10 and 125 million.
How would you feel? Let's bring this back to something we were talking about earlier, me and my sports gambling. How would you feel if I said, I'm going to bet on the Indiana Hoosiers national championship game, but I'm going to bet somewhere between $10 and $10,000?
I want you to narrow it down just
Of course you'd want me to narrow it down a little bit. But if I'm the federal government, I can sit here and say, well, I don't have a problem gambling. I'm just going to bet, just anywhere between $10 and $10,000. Could be $10. Might just be $10. We don't know.
So you've got Senator Jeff Merkley. He said that Trump can't just rename the DOD without congressional approval. And he said that it's performative government. Donald Trump's been talking about this for a long time, that it's the Department of War.
Yeah, and it is performative because it is just branding. Nothing else is changing as part of it except for the name of the entity. Yes, of course, that is by definition performative. Doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Do I like the fact that we might spend $125 million? And by the way, when the government says, it's going to cost between 10 and 125, you know how much it's going to cost? $300 million.
Exactly.
It's going to cost double on
And
their
then they're
high
going to say,
end.
we were off just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but we got started and we can't stop now because we'd be wasted. We got to finish it. And yeah, it's going to be twice as much as the high end that I thought. But when the government says between 10 million and 125 million, you lock your wallet up.
Another thing coming out of the Pentagon is they have announced that Stars and Stripes will now focus on reporting for war fighters and no longer include what it calls woke distractions. Half the content is going to be written by active duty service members, and material from AP or Reuters will be dropped.
Now, again, probably, if you want to call this performative, you could call it performative as well, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have value. I think there's value here that if Stars and Stripes had turned into, another liberal media entity within the Department of War now, then absolutely they should be making changes to it. And I love the fact that they're going to have some actual men and women serving on the front line that'll be writing articles in this piece.
So they do have some social media, and their posts have gone away from general news or Washington, D.C. reporting and outside news sources. And instead, the Pentagon now wants them to concentrate on warfighting, weapons, fitness, and other military-focused topics. So it's going to become more like a newsletter for those in the service than any sort of general newspaper.
And it sounds like they'll have more first-person accounts of men and women on the front lines as opposed to just kind of repurposing stories that were done by Reuters and Associated Press.
Right.
They're just going to have people talking about, hey, what's it like being a member of the military and what's your daily life look like, and writing articles associated with that.
So service members writing for service members.
Sounds like it might be a pretty good business move on all of this, or at least something that might be more interesting to people that serve in the armed forces.
So Stars and Stripes has been a military-focused newspaper since the Civil War, and reporting has continued since then, since World War II. It's been nonstop. Okay, so what else do we have here? We've got mortgage rates. Indiana housing market 2026. Lower rates, tough competition. So this is kind of interesting. There's two reports that have come out. The National Association of Realtors has named Indianapolis one of the top 10 home buying hotspots for 26, and they cite low rates and large inventory. But then you have this other report coming out from Zillow saying that nearly half, 48.7%, of Indianapolis homes have lost value year over year.
You've always got to be careful about real estate news when it's released, because some of it really only is relating to the business of real estate. Yeah, but that's a reason why it's a hot spot, or it could be. Indianapolis could be a hot spot because
the price has gone down.
Prices are going down. Exactly. Sure. So it always depends on the perspective. You'll hear this story a lot, that the National Association of Realtors say, home sales, the number of home sales is the worst we've seen in a generation. Well, if I'm a homeowner, I don't care that there haven't been few sales. I care whether or not my home is worth more today or less today than it was before. And if I'm a home buyer, I don't care about the volume of sales. That only directly impacts people who are in the real estate business and handling, titles and mortgages. If I'm a consumer, all I really care about is, if I own a home, is it worth more today than it was yesterday, or is it worth less? And if I'm looking to buy a home, what's out there available for me to purchase, and can I afford it?
So the average time, the median time that a home in Indianapolis is spending on the market, they're saying is 31 days. And the average nationally is 51 days. So they are turning over quite a bit.
That they're talking about, home prices declining in Indianapolis. Indianapolis had a pretty strong run up in home prices over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Now, not as much as Las Vegas and Phoenix and Tampa, but for a Midwest city, we were one of the fastest growing cities as far as home pricing goes. But what happens when you get that huge run up in pricing in previous years is eventually the market's going to correct itself, and we're going to see a drop off in prices. And it sounds like that's what we're sitting in right now. And yeah, that average home price is a good bit below the national average.
They're comparing Indianapolis to Columbus and also Kansas City. And they say that Metro Indy currently has 26.
Or discomfort with things that used to be simple, like walking the dog. You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet store can help you, like Bill.
My feet would just ache, my back would hurt, my ankles, everything just hurt. And I'd seen the commercial several times before I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
Another satisfied customer of the Good Feet store is Wendy.
Since wearing my arch supports from the Good Feet store, my back pain is gone and my feet don't hurt as much. And as I look into the future without pain, I see myself being even more adventurous, joyful, and full of possibility.
Come to the Good Feet store today for your free fitting and test walk. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood just off the 65. Or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Discover your options at the Good Feet store.
What say we start that new year with a new car at Tom Roush Lincoln? Hurry in for the 8, 9, 10 deal. Get $8,000 off new Nautilus or $9,000 off new Corsair. Or how about $10,000 off Lincoln Aviator? The 8, 9, 10 deal right now at Tom Roush Lincoln. Come get a great deal on all three from Tom Roush, where our family served yours since 1972.
Corsair stock number L25566, MSRP 55340. Nautilus stock number L26030, MSRP 62705. Aviator stock number L25384, MSRP 79450. See dealer for complete offer details.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Let's go! You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Casey and the Sunshine Band, live at Old National Center, January 23rd at 7:30 p.m. It's the ultimate throwback party. Get your tickets today at WIBC.com.
Gas Buddy saying that the average gas price in Indiana fallen nearly 15 cents per gallon in the past week. The average state price, $2.63.
Yeah, you see that as you drive around. I mean, gas prices have come down. Now, I haven't seen this in the state of Indiana, but I have seen some posts on social media. I think one was as close as Ohio, where people were taking pictures of the price of the gas pump, and in some instances, it was below $2 a gallon.
Really?
Yeah, in Kentucky.
Well, not here in Indiana.
That's what I said. It's not here in Indiana because, of course, we have one of the highest gas taxes in the entire country.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have gas below $2 a gallon anytime soon. But there are other people that live in nearby states that don't have nearly the high of a gas tax as we do in Indiana that are seeing gas prices below $2 a gallon.
And it's interesting because the governor was just, his State of the State address was talking about affordability was going to be his main focus. And he's one of those people that voted for those gas taxes. And talk of toll roads coming. So double whammy. If you're in your
he's
car.
not interested in talking about the gas tax at all because I believe it was on the Kendall and Casey show during his election run last year that when you guys brought up the gas tax.
He said it was a use tax.
He said that's a use tax. So that means it's completely off the table and nothing he has to think about, worry about, or even discuss on any level.
Work-life strain. Okay, this is an article about Gen Z. 56% of Gen Z workers say they have no life outside of work. Most getting less than an hour of free time per day. Over a third are juggling multiple jobs. Well, no kidding. That sounds like everybody. I don't think that that's exclusive to Gen Z.
I think the problem is Gen Z.
They're whining about it the most.
They're whining about it the loudest, and that wasn't what they expected. I think they expected to just, work a couple hours at a job and then have the rest of the time to do whatever you want with your life. Yeah, no, most people.
Welcome to the workforce.
Through most of modern society, when it comes to their daily grind, it's you get up, you go to work, you got a little bit of time with your family, and then you go to sleep.
Yeah. They say that they're cutting costs in drastic ways. Let's see if you consider any of these drastic.
Oh, boy.
26% are cutting their own hair.
Would you, for guys, I don't think that's as drastic. For women, I think that may be more drastic. Like that would have to be pretty drastic if we were pinching pennies to the point where you were cutting your own hair, wouldn't you say?
When was the last time I went to a salon?
You don't go very often, but
clearly.
When was the last time you cut your own hair?
Last week.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong about that.
Doing
but
a little
yeah,
trim.
that doesn't seem overly dramatic.
Okay, 15% take shorter or cold showers.
That is outrageous. Outrageous. A cold shower? Well, how much
This is to save money.
How much does it cost to heat up enough water for a hot shower? What are we talking? $1 maybe? 75 cents? And I'm not taking a cold shower? I'm not a psychopath? Come on.
13% air dry their clothes. They're not using a dryer.
Again, how much? The dryer doesn't cost that much. This is what I remember. There was a time, during the last financial crisis, people, turn off all your lights. They're all LED bulbs. I could run every light in our entire house on 365 days a year, and it would probably cost $15. You're not saving a lot of money by turning off the lights. You're not saving a lot of money by taking a cold shower.
Another way that Gen Z is cutting costs, obviously reduce grocery spending. Well, that's common across the board. That's not exclusive to Gen Z.
No, but that can be impactful because obviously everybody's grocery bill has gotten much more expensive and is in hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month. So if you can cut 20-30% out of that, now we're talking real money.
They also say that they're washing their clothes in the bathtub.
Because what, you're going to save electricity on your washer? That's insane. Again, it doesn't cost that much to run a washer.
It's true.
What do you have, like a wooden spoon in there with your clothes in the bathtub, stirring it up? Plus, believe me, I don't want to see what that water looks like when my clothes are. I'm better off not knowing that my clothes are that dirty.
They're also curtailing dating and social activities because of their finances.
Hey, girlfriends are expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
I get that. That one is impactful. Fine, you want to curtail that having a girlfriend, that's potentially a lot of money. If you want to cut back on that to save money, that can make an impact. Grocery store cutting back, yeah, you can make an impact on that. But washing your clothes in the bathtub, it's insane.
Okay, so there's a big football game coming up on Sunday. You're
What?
very excited
There is?
about it. Yeah, Chicago Bears and the Rams. But they have made an announcement about the national anthem.
This is a big deal.
Yeah. So you've got Jim Cornelius, who's going to be singing the national anthem at the Bears-Rams game on Sunday.
So if you don't know, Jim Corneliuson, he sings the national anthem at all the Chicago Blackhawks games. He's got a very unique style. He does all the Blackhawks home games, but now he has become so popular. By the way, he sings at the Indy 500 back home again in Indiana.
Sure.
So now every year they fly him in just to sing back home again in Indiana. He has become the national anthem for hire guy at big events all around the country. We actually went to a game and saw him sing the national anthem in person. We went to a Notre Dame hockey game when they were in the Frozen Four tournament one time, and they brought Jim Corneliuson in to sing the national anthem. And let me tell you, Bears fans are hyped to the fact that he's going to be singing it before the game on Sunday night.
How old do you think he is?
I'd say he's 62.
You're so close. He's 61.
Yeah, and he's been doing this for probably 15, 20 years, where he's kind of been the national anthem guy, and he crushes it every single time.
So he always does the home games for the Blackhawks,
Home
right?
games for the Blackhawks, and he's been doing that for decades.
He's going to be doing it for the Bears game.
And he does it for the Bears game, and if you go to the Indy 500 next year, you'll be able to enjoy him singing back home again in Indiana, which we've seen him sing that in person a couple of times as well.
So are you ready for a little rendition? You want to hear it?
Yeah, because if you don't know what we're talking about, I think we need to give people a kind of a sense of what it is, because he does have a very unique style, but the fans absolutely lose their mind and love this guy.
All right, so we've got Jim Cornelius here getting you pumped.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
Come on.
For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
USA! 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 Oh, just the best.
He always points to the flag.
Points to the flag. Soldier Field is going to lose their minds Sunday night.
Here we go.
Ah, he's the best.
Oh, he hits it, doesn't he?
Crushes it. Wow. Best in the business. If you've got a national anthem that needs to be sung and you're like, I need the best guy out there to do it, Jim Corneliuson, he is your guy 7 days a week. That's just awesome. I'm ready to go suit up. Give me a helmet. Give me a shoulder pad. I'm sure I can do something for the Chicago Bears this weekend.
You think so, Waterboy, perhaps?
A 50-year-old guy with bad knees and a bad back? Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
You're going to be the 12th man. You already told us.
That's right. I'll have my jersey on. I'll be cheering, and I'll be singing the national anthem right along with Jim Corneliuson. Now, there is a concerted effort that is taking place on social media right now to get NBC to air the national anthem, because frequently they won't air the. Sometimes they will. Big ones like the Super Bowl, they'll air the national anthem, but for a lot of games they don't. But there has been a concerted effort that people are, tweeting at and posting things on social media that NBC needs to air the national anthem.
They're
before
like,
the
get
Bears
on
game.
this. Okay, so no flyover because nobody will see it, right?
Wait, why no flyover?
Do you think there'll be one?
It could be a flyover. Why wouldn't there be a flyover? That's what the great thing about playing in an open-air stadium like Soldier Field. You get a flyover.
All right. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Caleb, for coming. And thank you for listening. Have a great weekend. We're out on Monday, but we'll be back here Tuesday. It is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy plates, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Furnace on the fritz? Call Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Get an honest assessment on your current furnace or a great deal on a new one. Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
He's going to prison for a long time. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. Good afternoon. A Missouri man receiving his sentence today for hitting and killing Indiana State Police Trooper Aaron Smith in Indianapolis in June of 2023.
It's been a long 2.5 years to get here.
Hendricks County Prosecutor Lauren Delp spoke to the media after the sentencing was handed down of 40 years in prison and 10 years of probation for 20-year-old Eddie Jones. Jones entered a guilty plea back in November. That dropped some charges, including a murder charge. That was agreed to by the family. Prosecutor Delp said they wanted justice for Trooper Smith and his family.
Today is about Aaron Smith and the life that he led. He was a man of sacrifice. He was a man of service. And that was quite abundantly clear in the hearing that we just had.
Trooper Smith was attempting to deploy stop sticks during a high-speed chase that was captured on traffic cameras that showed Jones steer the stolen car towards Smith, hitting him and killing him. WIBC's Ryan Hedrick said it was standing room only at the courthouse as hundreds of state troopers and other law enforcement members were at this morning's sentencing to show their support. 2 people are recovering after being shot early this morning on the east side of Indianapolis. It happened around 1:20 on North Colorado Avenue. When officers got there, they found 2 people who had been shot. Both were taken to a hospital. One of them was in critical condition. The shooting comes a day after shots were fired on the same block, and a man was critically injured. Police said a gun discharged on accident while some people were inside a home playing cards. One state official is weighing in on the situation in Minneapolis. Johnette Cruz reports.
Indiana Senator Jim Banks is calling the situation in Minneapolis despicable as federal ICE agents face nightly attacks during the many deportation operations. Banks spoke on the Hammer and Nigel show on Thursday.
These ICE agents are there to keep us safe, to deport criminal illegals. That's exactly what Donald Trump was elected to do. He was elected to get these criminal illegals off of our streets.
Banks blames Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for the violence, accusing the administration of placating radicals and endangering law enforcement. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The other Indiana Senator, Republican Todd Young, said Thursday that the U.S. government needs to be careful about getting too heavily involved in Venezuela.
And I believe that a drawn-out campaign in Venezuela involving the American military, even if unintended, would be the opposite of President Trump's goal of ending foreign entanglement.
Young said that any such commitment of U.S. forces in Venezuela must be subject to debate and authorization in Congress.